Night talking about Age of Sigmar. Nate, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Well, just gorgeous, as you well know. Yeah, you've got eyes. You know I'm gorgeous.
Sure.
Good. So, welcome everyone on Monday night. I hope you're well. Apologies for Thursday. If you guys were...
Have you recovered?
Have I recovered? I have recovered very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Nathan Prescott.
Are you sure?
Well, I hope so. I don't know.
You're still looking a bit peaky.
I do look a bit pale, don't I? That's fine. So, if you guys have just joined us now live, obviously, thank you and welcome for joining us. If you watch us back, also you're cool. If you listen to the podcast, you guys are great. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. You guys are obviously wonderful.
And if you're watching us over semaphore flags,
yeah.
Skills for you.
If you guys are live on a yacht watching us, we hugely appreciate that as well. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. I mean it in all seriousness. You guys are fantastic. Okay, all right, good. Anyone you want to shout out, Nath?
I'll give the Gobblepalooza a shout out because they're the best ever.
Have you started painting them?
No.
Well, what a surprise.
Actually, I have. Yeah, I've got some coat on some of the metals. Yeah.
I saw someone yesterday who'd actually not painted. He had a Gobblepalooza on his list. And I was like, "Why do you have it in your list?" And he was like, "I shouldn't have it on my list." That's a good point. Heinrad, hello.
You such a liar.
And
you
also,
should definitely have it in his list.
Big shout out to Dude Our Day doing the jet fire emojis in the chat. There he is. There's a bit of jet for you. Jet, give us a fire.
Fire.
Look at that, you can cuddle the dog now, it doesn't mess the mic up. It just works. Let's get a little bit, there you go, a bit of jet action. Okay, alright. So yeah, welcome everyone. Loads happened in Age of Sigmar past couple of weeks, obviously. So there's been, especially the Court of Skaven book, fairly recent. And now we're getting a Blades of Khorne book, like almost hot on the heels. Yeah. And then you and me will be in Adepticon in a week and a half, 2 weeks or so. No, week and a half, 2 weeks it'll be done, won't it? Yeah. I know it's crazy. So we're going to. So on today's show, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Blades of Khorne information that we've seen so far, and of course we're going to talk about our lists for Adepticon because Nathan's going to have finally finalised his. Yeah? No? You haven't finalised it?
Well, I haven't painted the Gobblepalooza.
Oh my god, you're an idiot. Hi Hook and Pin, how you doing? Oh yes, thank you very much. I'm glad someone's made Hook and Pin one of our most Tomb King Tristan, one of our latest moderators, but Hook and Pin our newest moderator.
Oh yeah.
Welcome Hook and Pin, our first lady moderator on a Warhammer channel stream.
Power.
She has been given the power. So she says, I have a sword, and she's very happy about that. Johnny Hawkwind, thank you very much for subscribing. Heinrad, 16 months of competitive AoS knowledge right here, says Heinrad. Heinrad has been listening to the show for 16 months in a row now, as that subscription points out, and recently went to the Sheffield Slaughter and won one game with his Daughters of Cain army. So if you'd like to get as good as Heinrad does, please stay in the shout. Tomb King Tristan's got to go to the doctor's office soon. I hope you're well. I've been very happy with her sword. John Action, my doubles partner, thank you for joining us. John's actually running an Age of Sigmar event, Nathan. We're going to talk about this after the show.
Okay.
So this is admin stuff, but he's running more than an Age of Sigmar event and a wargaming convention that we may be going to. But we'll talk
over
about
in
that.
The States.
No, here in the UK. Oh. Yeah, from a bunch of guys I've never heard of, and their scenery is amazing. Yeah, I'll show you later. Okay.
Bunch of guys with cool scenery. Cool.
Yeah. Dude, Day, thanks for subscribing for 16 months in a row on a 16-month streak. And Blue Sweller also for subscribing 8 months in a row. Thank you, Mr. Kapowski. I also did see there. You okay? You texting me?
Oh, no, I'm just checking my list. I reckon I've got the list.
All right,
I might be taking.
Okay,
because it's got something in it.
What's he got in? Hi, Adam Sinclair. And also Tyromancer, thank you for subscribing 14 months in a row. He says cover Raw in character. We might also be going to Raw to do the coverage, Nathan.
Cool.
But that's a conversation that we'll talk about that later as well. Let's talk about actual Age of Sigmar. How's that sound?
Oh, Raw is the actual Age of Sigmar.
What? Raw, yeah, that's true. All competitive AoS is rubbish apart from Raw, the narrative event. I agree with you completely. Dude Our Day, can we all be mods, please, Rob? I think Dude Our Day can be a mod. We'll sort that out, Dude Our Day. No issue. Our channel will have mainly moderators. Hey, Warhammer Rab, I hope you're well. So, Nate, what Age of Sigmar stuff have you done? I also saw Nick Thompson in the chat earlier.
Yeah. He's putting rats up. Dirty rats. Dirty rats.
What have you been up to recently?
Only his rats got guns and bombs, so they're scary rats.
Guns and bombs?
Yeah,
that seems untoward. I'm actually doing a dirty trade tomorrow morning. I'm trading some of my 40k custodies in the morning for a box of rats.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
sounds like a good swap.
So yeah, go on.
So I've just been painting some more dudes. I've finished painting my unit of spore splatters, so they're ready to spread their spores.
Okay.
So I've just got to put some bases on them. Oh, I finished the basing, but that's them done.
So you've done some hobby?
Yeah, done that, and I've started painting my Boingrop bounders.
Ooh.
They're great.
The Boingrop bounders. Are you taking the Boingrop bounders yet to Adepticon?
Maybe.
So let me tell everyone the story of what's happening.
No.
So Nathan has got to go to Adepticon for an international tour. Is this your first international tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All the tournaments I've played in have been international.
Well, because you're there. Because they're not from Zimbabwe.
Anybody can go to them. They're not like, no, you can only come here if you're from Wiltshire. I basically don't go to international tournaments because I'm scared of all the Tokoleshis. Brad Glover, greetings, Brad Glover, gorgeous hobbyist. Looking forward to hearing about some AoS before Throne Schools this weekend, because there's Throne Schools at 1-1 this weekend. High Propagation and Scrunty Hugh. I've been making more big lizards. I'm really hyped for AoS at the moment. Want to see what Corn does to people's lists. I'm George Mark. Hello, Compendium Army. Was it Chaos Dwarves? Thanks, Dan. I am better. Scrunty Hugh is also linking some stuff in the chat for us if everyone wants to join us, which is a gorgeous convert. Fuck yes. Scrunty Hugh, great lizard. Everyone click that. Hi Hawkeye. Hi Hookpen. Par. I love Par. He's so happy all the time when he plays Warhammer. Apart from when someone dispels all of his spells, he's like, shit. Right. So the story is Nathan's going to an international team tournament. Not team tournament. Fuck that. Yeah, Nathan's going to an international tournament, Adepticon, which I'm also going to. If you are in America and you'd like to say hi, there isn't a press area, I don't think, but I think me and Nathan are going to pitch up into a cafe at one point, and I will announce that is the Honest Wargamer meet and greet. Because we're incredibly poor, we will be charging $4 to $5 for a meet and greet. Are you okay with that? As long as I can sell my sports vote, I'm happy.
That's as long as that's allowed. Hi Rograx, smashing it this weekend in the 40k tournament at Warhammer. So Nathan hasn't been able to decide on a list, and I've had to listen to him decide on 19 different lists.
My phone is full of lists. It's full up.
How many lists have you written so far?
Oh, it's got to be at least 30, 40 lists, I reckon.
Yeah, and then at one point it got so serious that I had to talk to Jonathan Atland, our Swedish show host. I had to message him and say, can you please talk to Nathan? And then he started sending me other Gloomspite Gits lists, which were different to Nathan's Gloomspite Gits lists, right? But then Nathan, because he hasn't been able to decide, has decided to paint an entire Gloomspite Gits army while not deciding. Yeah. So what do you think you're settled on, and why?
I'm going to take loads of endless spells.
Okay. Why?
Because they're fun.
Good.
I'm going to take an Ale Guzzler Gargant because it's awesome.
Good.
And
wait, no, disagree. I did that thing where I'm not really listening. I just say good. You're taking an Ale Guzzler Gargant.
Yeah, and then
wait, hold on.
And then
God. Oh, this is what it feels like to have hives, I think. What? So
it's really good for its points.
So, if you guys aren't aware, one of the really important things about Adepticon is that only about 50% of your score in any way comes from gaming.
Yeah.
In any of the competitions. So, I mean, we're doing a doubles event, we're doing a single 1,000 points event, and obviously we're doing 2,000. So we're talking about 2,000 point list right now.
Yeah. The 1,000 point list has got Zarbag and his Gits and some other dudes.
Iron Front Alex says Gargant OP, please nerf. And the Wizard says, as a podcast player, but I really do appreciate when I get to listen to nerds talk about Warhammer Live. Oh, I'm really glad you do. Thanks, the Wizard. I hope you enjoy it. Stuff from down your pants, Nath. So the giant isn't good, is he?
He's great for his points. He's okay.
For his points, he's medium, would you say? Well, does he synergise with the rest of your army?
Yeah.
What does he do different?
Well, because you got loads of command points, you can re-roll his charges when he falls over.
That's the synergy. That's yeah, absolutely.
He's got less chance to fall over because you got loads of command points.
Like symbol just says that it synergizes with the floor. Okay, all right. What's his output like, damage-wise?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, compare it to something else more known about in the gaming world.
Well, it's not as good as a Chaos Gargant, but it's nearly as good. But then they're more expensive.
Is it as good as a Beast of Chaos Gargant?
No.
Okay.
But they're more expensive. So.
Oh. Hi, OJ. Synergizes with the floor symbol, which I really do appreciate as a statement. Hi, it's fantastic. All right. So, what's his survivability like?
Fair to middling, or just middling to not fair?
Middling to not fair, would you say? Would you say it's like an orange alert?
Yeah, but people are attracted to him, and they go and look at him, and whilst they're looking at him, then the gits can stab them. There's the synergies.
John McGrath, good morning. Hi, AD Mac. Hi, Wargaming Dad. We're talking about Nathan's Chaos Gargant, not Chaos Gargant, sorry.
Yeah, proper one, not a rubbish one.
So... Okay, so you're going to take a Gargant,
yeah.
And you're using him as a distraction. Carnifex is the term some people use.
Yeah, distraction. He's a distraction Gargant. An ale guzzler distraction Gargant, and and then I'm going to cast endless spells around him into people's faces.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say also, you can hide him behind the spore splatter, but you can't. He's too big. So there you go.
You're going to hide behind the sports splatter, but
you can't. He's too big. He's a monster, so you can't.
You're not allowed to hide behind stuff.
No.
That's sad.
Not behind spore splatter fanatics. No.
Wow. Sad face.
Yeah.
Hi JJ number 10. You guys, you're also hot. Hi Seafar site, and also Par UK says Giants are hopeless. Took one to Blungory, killed more points of mine across 5 games. Is this because he charged, fell over, or when he died? He fell over, and then you lost the roll-off, and then it does mortal wounds to your own army.
Yeah. That's always a possibility. I once had one fight off a big unit of those Grimghast Reaper things.
What, all on his own?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, him and some Wolf Riders.
Just kicking some ghosts?
Yeah.
Just kicking them in the shins?
He put loads in his pants.
What are ghosts in your pants like?
Well, I guess it's like a real... sticky fart that doesn't want to go away.
If anyone in the Twitch chat has got an analogy for what a giant's pants full of ghosts are, I'd really like to hear it, please. Yeah, I'm feeling better, thanks, JJ. Okay, so after the giant, what else?
So if I can get my sneaky stuff list painted up in time, I'll take them as well.
Okay.
But there's a good chance that they won't be done, in which case they're 70 points, so I can probably just put another loon boss in.
Okay, little loon boss fella.
Yeah.
And what's his job?
His job is to buff the grots. So I've got loads of grots because grots are the best. So
Grots are the best. Are you taking the Gobblepalooza?
They're not going to be painted, so I doubt it. If they are, by some miracle, then definitely everybody else get out and the Gobblepalooza in. Okay,
and you are correct, Warhammer Rob, and everyone live on Twitch, you all have seen what's in Nathan's pants.
It's like a Grimghast Reaper.
And then Bin says, ghosts in your pants are clearly farts that linger too long. John McGrath, Gargants are amazing. We're running a destruction-only narrative-driven event later in the year. Everyone needs to bring one figure every single game. Okay, that seems fair. Eddie Mac, like growing old, you know you had something inside your pants, but it gets harder to find. Hi, Lexopolis. Okay, so you're not going to take that. So what else is in there? So lots of grots.
Yeah.
Loon boss on Mangler Squig?
No, I haven't got a loon boss. I've got my Mangler Squig. It's just the Mangler Squig.
So you're going to take Mangler Squigs?
He's not going to get painted in time, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to take the old Mangler Squigs?
No, he's on the wrong side of space.
So you're just taking lots of grots?
Taking loads of grots, scrag grot, loads of wizards, loads of spells, and a gargant.
Okay, good. All right, that sounds fun. And your intention at that, I imagine your intention over the entire of Adepticon is to have a great time.
Yeah. Win 7 games out of 5 and have a great time.
Good.
So you're taking those imaginary things.
Those imaginary dwarves.
Yeah.
I actually have a really cool element that I think you're going to like. It's been adapted. I've stolen from the Grandmaster of List Writing himself. So you're going to enjoy this part, I think. So yeah, I'm obviously taking the Chaos Dwarfs, hoping to give them a 5-0 on the stats. After Simon keeps tanking my stats, Mr. Simon Froley out there. Saw him at the weekend, lovely man. He took some Chaos Dwarfs this weekend, but he made mixed Chaos just so he couldn't fuck with the stats. He was like, "Don't worry." I thought, "You gorgeous man." So yeah, I'm taking Chaos Dwarves, the Legion of Asgore, which is a Forge World army. If you're new and first time you've ever listened. The list has always had lots of different iterations, but I think I finalised the list, the trick to it is, Nathan, you obviously play, you play. I saw also Tuggy this weekend, so I'm going to talk about what I've been up to this weekend in a minute, but we'll talk about this when we talk about it. Tuggy was playing with Dispossessed. When you play with Dispossessed, what would you say the key feature of the Dispossessed is over any other?
What defines them?
What defines them as an army?
Their lack of speed.
Correct. Yeah. I also have a movement 4 army. There are only 2 units in the army. Oh no, there are more than 2 actually. But effectively, you've either got the Bull Centaurs, who are kind of movement 7, or you've got the Grand Old Kadai, who are movement 7, but they can run and charge, right? So they're my fast unit, and even then, at their fastest, at their most pacey, they are, of course, only movement 13 with a 2d6 charge. So I'm going to go to Adepticon, and my aim is to make everyone else feel like what it's like to play against a Chaos Dwarf, or play as a dwarf. Which I thought you would be on, even though I'm evil, I thought you'd be on board with that. So I'm taking 3 Demon Smiths, no Bull Centaur Turok, who's ugly.
Oh.
Yeah, which is a big change for me in my list, as you know.
That fella's always there, normally.
That fella is always there. So 3 Chaos Dwarf Demon Smiths, and one of them is going to have the Blood of the Chalice of Blood and Darkness. And what that does is every enemy wizard within 30 inches, so if it's Nathan's hero phase, I get to unleash it. And then every enemy wizard within 30 inches, I roll the dice on a 4-up, they lose a wizard level only for that phase, but down to a minimum of 0. So, you could have 0 spells to cast, which is really nice if there's like a necromancer trying to cast a portal or, any of those other things. So he's going to be my general. I'm still going to make him ugly because I like saying this guy's ugly. It just makes me laugh. So he'll be -1 to hit in close combat. Then, so it's 3 of them, 3 Demon Smiths. They're level 1 casters. They're 100 points each. They're quite cool. And then I am taking 70 Fireglaves. Bit of a classic at this stage. Yeah, 2 units of 30 and a 10. And then I'm taking 12 Kadai Fireborn in 1 unit. Bit of a classic at this stage. And then I've got the Vermin Lord Corruptor as an ally.
Yeah.
With with the endless spell, the Warp Lightning Vortex. That's only because if I cast it, I just auto win a game because it's fucking dumb. I would describe it's dumbness level 10 out of 5. It's top tier rubbish. And then I'm taking Geminids, Soulslayer Shackles. So what I'm doing with Soulslayer Shackles is if I can cast it, I half everyone's movement. And then I'm taking one more ally, an 80-point ally, a fellow called the Mask of Slanesh.
Oh, fuck. You're a douchebag.
Which is something I've stolen completely off Darren. But what the mask does is make all enemy units within 12 inches, not wholly within, just within 12 inches, minus half their movement. So I can half your movement, but then half your movement again. So if you start at movement 8, you'll end up at movement 2. Yeah? And then I'll be like, this is what it's like being a dwarf, but worser. So that's my plan. My plan is to make, and then as they're just stood there, not moving for the entire game, I'm going to walk forward with my Chaos Dwarves and shoot them like the English, yeah, like the English in there with red lines, and just walk forward and shoot them. That's the armor list. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about the inclusion of the mask? Smart?
Yeah. The mask, that's a good call. If you want to be a douchebag, yeah, sounds great.
I do. I really, really, really do. I want someone to be like, "Hello, I'm movement 8." Like, I want some Beast of Chaos Enlightened to be like, "I'm movement 20." I'm like, "You're movement 5, dickhead." Yeah, and you can't fly.
Yeah, you got to walk around all of these things.
Yeah, you got to walk around all these things. So I think that'll be really fun because it's a gun line, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be a gun line that
just slows people down so you can shoot them more.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be really, really fun. Yeah, it doesn't sound like anyone's getting on objectives, says OJ. They're not getting on objectives. I'm not getting on objectives. So yeah, but I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be fun, but yeah, it's be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fun for you, maybe. Oh, I agree. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to have a ball. Because all I want to do, my only mission is to make everyone be like a quarter. I don't know how to describe it. Double half is what I keep saying.
There's a quarter.
Yeah, it's a quarter. Yeah, double half. Yeah, I want you to be double half movement.
It's double half is 1.
What?
If you double half, it's 1.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, 2 halves make
Two
a
halves
1.
make a 1. So what do you think? Good, solid, good plan. Massacre Slanesh. If you do, so the Massacre Slanesh is the most under. So big shout out to Mr. Just an amazing little fade just happened on the screen there. I'm sorry if you just saw that. Do you want to? I'm just going to quickly read what the Massacre Slanesh does for everyone.
Yeah, go on then.
So he's a Slaneshi character. So if you are able to ally in Slanesh, I would, if you could, ally him in because he's a bit of a joke. Also, hello Aaron Wilson. Thank you very much for subscribing to Performance. So he's got 5 wounds with a 4-up save, and he moves 10 inches. He's got 6 attacks in close combat, 3s and 4s -1 damage. So not terrible. Yeah. So at the start of the combat phase, you roll a dice when an enemy model targets the mask, and if your opponent rolls that dice number to hit, so if you roll a 4, let's say, if you roll any 4s, they automatically miss.
Fair enough.
So he's a little bit more survivable than you would think. He's got the Endless Dance. The mass move characteristic is equal to that of her target when you roll the dice for attacks in the combat phase. You can reroll any failed hit rolls. So if they're also movement 10, you can reroll failed hit rolls. But the one that's masked it really, really good is the Infernal Choreographer. It is impossible to stand still while in the presence of the mask, so you must dance. The dance, fantastic. The noblest warriors find themselves capering and twirling, caught up in elaborate spectacles without ever really knowing how or why. So I was thinking of taking a Bluetooth speaker with me. And just play "Everybody Dance Now" every time I got something in range, because that'll get me some sports votes.
You're gonna get no sports votes using that one.
Everyone at Adepticon, if you give me a sports vote, I will reject it flat out. I want 0. I want none. Don't give them to me. I don't want them. Yeah. Also, everyone at Adepticon, if you want my sports votes, I don't know how much financially they're worth, but some amount of money. Make your offers now. Yeah, because Two King Tristan says, paint that shit like Bowie. Oh, nice. And Bill Robertson says he's got to pee really bad. Go to the toilet, bro. Also, the first Brain Swig says he's a she, mine's a he. What are you going to do?
Yes.
The mask is a single model.
He, she.
Let's move on from that subject. It's 2019.
Best of both worlds.
The best of both this worlds. Magic Dance, right? The whole army moonwalking away from your army. And then any of you that start their movement phase within 12 inches of the mask of Slanesh, halve their movement that turn. So all I have to do is spend 1 command point, run, he, she, it, 16 inches forward. It's a demon. And now they're all half movement. And then if I cast Shackles, you're quarter movement. Then if I cast Geminids, you're -1 to hit. And if I cast Ash Storm, you're another -1 to hit. Then if I manage to cast then if I manage to cast the Warp Lightning Vortex, you can't run, you can't fly, you're a quarter move, and you're not leaving your objective. Your deployment zone for the whole game. Cheers.
I'm going to hand a Gork some fucker over there and bash you on the nose.
Tomlin says, as long as your name is, if you can't read that, you'll get my vote. The first brain says a model has boobs, it's cheating, lol. That's fair. And then Iron Front Alex says the mask identifies as Finecast, which is its truest gender. You're going to make all the friends. You're going to end up with a TO putting your sports score into negatives. Yes. You have to buy those sports votes from. No problem. I've got 0 cash. So blowjobs for days. Right. So that's my list. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it sounds competitive. Yeah, sounds.
Does it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Chaos Dwarves, man.
Yeah, but you're just slowing people down so you can shoot them. The guns are great, aren't they?
Do you want to know
They're
the
just
biggest?
short
Do you want to know
range.
the biggest problem that I'm quite afeared of?
What's that?
Is that I make them so slow, because if you guys don't know, the Fireglaves that I'm taking, they've got a 16-inch shot and they move 4, so it's 20-inch range. I'm worried that I'll actually slow them down so much that they won't be able to get in range of my guns. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to run.
Run up and shoot them.
Yeah, so I think put your red shoes and dance the blues. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to Adepticon, absolutely loads. That list is finalised for me. I'm going to do some. I've got a Mask of Sinesh to paint up, but I've got everything else done, which is cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got. I'm going to do some basing, and I'm going to try and touch up the Fireglaves to make them look dead pretty. Also, that army fits quite small into a pretty transportable box, which was another thing that I thought about. So. They're all 25mm bases apart from the Verminlord Corruptor.
Yeah,
and the Kadai.
he's quite big and
he's
floppy, isn't he? So
yeah. And Abinsky, thanks for subscribing. And then competitive is a euphemism. Agreed. Bill Robertson, I'm recovering from an eye infection right now and basically blind. So there it is. Looks great.
Have you finished painting your Vortex spell?
What? Oh no, I haven't even started.
Oh, okay.
I got to paint that too.
So you got to paint the mask and the Vortex.
Yeah.
And the other spell you're taking is just Geminids and Shackles.
Geminids and
your
Shackles. But what do you think? Shackles or the Palisade? So that I can run the mask forward. Cast Palisade, run the mask forward, and then just hide the mask behind the Palisade so you can't target it.
Yeah, you could do that. Only then it might interfere with your guns a little bit.
That's what I was thinking. But then I don't take Shackles, and then I can't half move someone as much and say, you're slower than a dwarf. Which is all I really want to say. You're as slow as a dwarf.
Well, most of them will be as slow as a dwarf from the stupid mask, dude.
Are people even slow anymore? Like, what do people even move anymore in the game? The movement is so goddamn fast. Like, everyone's like...
standard infantry is 5s and 6s, so you slow them down.
Yeah, but who takes standard infantry? What lists?
Some people.
Who?
Sangors. And rats. All those clan rats will be movement 3.
Okay. Alright, yeah, they will. Moon Tyranid, hello and welcome. So
it's probably better to take the Shackles, because then you can make effect general movement 4, and then you can shoot him.
Yeah, then they can shoot him. Also, not fly. Is
Yeah.
also because if it all goes off at the same time, you're just basically going to take D3 more wounds until you can unbind spells.
But the Corruptor doesn't have any bonuses to cast, does he?
Huh?
The Corruptor, he doesn't have any bonuses or anything to cast,
No.
does he? No.
So it's very unlikely I'm going to get that spell off.
Yeah, that's less likely, isn't it? Whereas if you took a Grey Seer, it's probably...
You can't take a grey. I can't ally a Grey Seer
Oh, okay. You can only take the Corruptor because he's Nurgle.
because he's Nurgle. So I can only ally in keyword Nurgle
Nurgle.
/ Khorne,
Right.
but I can't ally in a Grey Seer. Which would, I mean, if I could ally in a Grey Seer, I'd just take it in a fucking heartbeat. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, for those points, it's really, really good.
Do you mean a joke?
Yeah.
I would ally in, if I could ally in a Grey Seer, I would ally at least 2 Grey Seers because he's dumb. Rob P, question. Hi Nathan, I see you're still here, Rob. I'm going to Warhammer World Throne Schools tournament and taking an unorthodox Legion in the guest list, so I can't stand Reapers, which is fair. Will you be reviewing that tournament results in your next AoS stat show? So Rock Ape 4, sorry, I've got your name completely wrong there. Yeah, we don't review Throne of Skulls because it's an event. It's like a fun narrative weekend, not like a competitive tournament.
Yeah.
It's just you go there and have a great old time. You don't try and it's not. They don't sell it as competitive, right? And JJ, you're right. The Corruptor spell is great, but I'd rather have
the Grey Seer. And if you guys don't know what Grey Seer does, it's just crazy. So Nathan, have you done any Warhammer this? So that's the Adepticon sorted. Looking forward to it. If you guys are coming, we'll see you there. We're going to try and do some interviews and interview some folks while we're there. Well, I am anyway.
Yeah.
Nathan, you can just go up to what you need to. So yeah, we'll be bringing some gear and doing maybe some hotel interviews or some cafe interviews, and so it'll be a bit ad hoc. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also looking for games this week at Warhammer World or in our studio. So if anyone is free, especially in Nottingham in the daytime over the next 6 days, this is Monday, I need some competitive games. I'm mainly looking to play Daughters, Legions of Nagash, Flesh Eater Courts, Skaven, and
Dispossessed.
Not Dispossessed. What else am I worried by? Zinch? I think Zinch is like incredibly good, right?
Shooting Stormcast. Shooting
Stormcast. Right, are there any?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel Zinch is strong at the minute. Do you think Shooting Stormcast is like the undersung hero at the minute?
I think Shooting Stormcast can put a hole in some people's lists.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Hi, there is only Joe, one of the best Warhammer players in his house.
Third best, at least.
At least the third best Warhammer player in his house. So evening died in. Two King Christian has also just banned our LLV, our statsman, who'll be doing our show tomorrow. So Nath, have you done any of the Warhammer in this week?
Yeah, so I managed to get a game in against Sai at the WS10 Club Night last week. He had Stormcast list, and I was taking my Gloom Spites. I had the Squig Gobber and the Ale Guzzler Gargant and Scragrot. So yeah, and loads of Endless Spells again. So it was pretty good. We're playing Relocate the Greased Up Goblin.
Yeah.
We only got to turn 3, and I got quite lucky with where the goblin ended up at that turn. So I was ahead of points at that stage. I'm not sure how it would have gone from there, though. I guess it would have relied on the priority rolls, really. But yeah, it was pretty good. Good. Yeah. I was just needed to roll the 4 up to get some goblins back, really, because he had managed to kill. I had 2 blocks of 40 goblins. He had managed to kill 1 block because I did an alpha strike, hoping to pin him back, which worked a bit. It did mean the Sequitors. So he had a big block of Sequitors, meant that they had to run around. So by the time he finished getting through the 40, he also then had a little artillery battery with their ordinator and some of those ballistas, so they were pretty scary. But I got into them. I'm always impressed at how stabby the little grots are at the moment.
Yeah,
really great.
Yeah, because they've gone up that power level compared to what you used to, right?
Yeah, well, it's just the combination of them with the Spore Splatter Fanatics and the Loon Boss is just great.
Yeah, they are good.
They're just... Like, I'd roll all my attacks, I'd be like, oh, that was pretty decent. And then he was like, but aren't they still spore splattered? I'd be like, yeah, I can do it again. That's great.
So just loads and loads of damage.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're relying on this weekend, right? Well, no, not this weekend. Next weekend, Adepticon, hold objectives and just stab people with actual grots.
Stab them with grots.
And then distract them with a gargant.
And then headbutt them with my gargant. Just put some in the spells through them. It's just going to be great. No, the Ender Spell is there. Ender Spells are great for the range damage, and then the grots are pretty good at killing things at the moment, I think.
Okay, all right, fair enough. There was a great question in the chat which I really like, so I'd like to answer from a Texic. Hi guys, I'm a total newbie and in the process of choosing a new army. I'm going through the most appealing for me, and I'm on the crossroads between Legions of Nagash and Khorne. Can you tell me which of these is easier for the beginner to get to? Thanks. Nathan, what do you think? Twitch chat, what do you think?
The easier to get to?
Easier to use, I imagine. Which of those is easier for beginner to get to? I imagine beginner to use is what he's aiming for.
Maybe.
I hope.
I mean, so neither of them are shooting armies, really.
So you remove a phase, which is easy.
Yeah. And then we haven't seen the new Khorne book, so
so there's a new Khorne book, so that's hard to judge.
So that's up on pre-order at the moment. New book's coming out on the weekend. Looks pretty good.
It does. I would say, like everyone in the Twitch chat is saying corn, and that's easier. But in my, I don't want to like just rub everyone up the wrong way just because. But actually, depending on what you're looking to, if you want to make a competitive army, the Legions and Nagash is easier.
It's still very strong. Yeah.
It's very, very strong, but it's like that. You could do a bit like with the Moon Clan, right? You could buy like some Rock Guts, a Gargant, some Squig Hoppers, some Snufflers, the Gobblepalooza, a Loon King, and some Grots, and you'd be like, oh, I've got loads of cool stuff. But actually, you've kind of got like several parts of different armies in that scenario. Whereas with the Legions and Nagash, like skeletons are great. Yeah. Like Nagash is great. Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon is great. So a lot of the things that you can buy are great on their own, and then they synergize fairly well beyond that. So for me, I feel like the Legions of Nagash is a little bit simpler.
Well, it's a good book for getting stuff all round, really. Other than Manfred, well, I think the Mortox are still maybe slightly overcosted in that.
Yeah,
book.
depending on which one. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you can spam Neferata's command ability now is like probably. I mean, she can also auto-kill something.
Yeah.
Like, which people... I think Arcan is still too expensive because he can die to a stiff breeze. Although, last night I did get to watch someone get down to rolling a 2-up on Curse of Years and then rolled a 1 on the final. So that was Miles. So that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But
then the Corn book, I mean, from the teasers that we've seen so far, I think it's looking great. So,
yeah, no, I think it's great, absolutely. But Biological Hippos put the thing that I was about to say there. Corn has so many buffs, so actually there's a lot of buffs. There's a lot of like, so in my movement phase, I have to apply a Slaughter Priest ability here. I have to do this other command ability here, and I also need to have taken a battalion. Normally the Corn book is very centered around battalions.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know if that's going to be the case now, but I assume it's going to be.
Yeah.
I've read some of the articles, and I do think, and we are going to touch on those in a minute, I think the way that it'll work is it's battalion orientated, and then that means that polarizes your army as well in a way that you do have to specifically, like, if you were running the Murder Host, you're buying demons, so you're not picking up your random like
all your mortal stuff.
Yeah, you're not having just a random unit of Blood Warriors in there, but you might. But so it can be a little bit more complicated, and then also you also have to manage your buffs a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your heroes next to your unit that are charging. And even now, me as a player, one of my biggest mistakes that I'll make all the time is I'll have a character, his job is to give someone a buff, and then that unit that needs a buff will run the fuck away in a charge, and then it'll come around to the next turn. I'll be like, right, I'll buff them. They'll be like, no, you charged them way too far away. I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. So that's always a mistake I make. And I feel like that's a mistake Corn armies can make as well. It's true for the Death army, but the Death also have that really sneaky little thing where they can just bring a whole unit back, which does help.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the heroes are very important to the Death army too, but I think, like you say, the layers where the Corn gets their strength from is all the different. So yeah, I guess they're slightly more complex to play. Probably.
I think they're more complex to play.
But if you like an army where you've got more to do, then I think they're probably just as fun or more fun than the Death army.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, you get to say Skull for the Skull Thrones, and everyone's a Corn player just fucking loves doing that.
Blood for the blood
yeah.
god.
Yeah. You get to paint yourself red all day long, carry skulls around, and do that. But to give the other side of that chat, I will make sure everyone. Bill Robertson says Legion of Gas has lots of fiddly rules. It's fantastic. There's a funny meme going around comparing Corn to some crazy geometry stuff. Symbol says this game isn't so complicated that you have to worry about picking a simple army. Yeah. No, I would say that's
obviously true. The Corn army relies on prayers and buffs, whereas the Death army will rely on loads of spells. That's where they get a lot of their buffs and debuffs from. So, it is two sides of a different coin.
Mm-hmm. Ironside says, "Hey, both. Hope you're both well, and cheers for a great game, Nath, last week with the Stabby Grass."
Yeah, that was a good game. Thank you, sir.
Moon Tony says Nagash has got 20,000 things to remember, which I think maybe is fair.
Also, see if you can borrow them. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
And also, Tekik says thanks for that. That's fine. I just think the expectation of Khorne is to run forward and murder, and it's more complicated than that. It is more complicated than that. It is about overlapping buffs in some ways. And actually, previously, anyway, I was about to get onto the Khorne subject. We'll talk about the Khorne stuff in a bit because there's some very sad news when it comes to Khorne. It's really exciting news. Like, it's cool, new models, new book. Like, there's some exciting stuff, but there is some really sad news.
Okay.
A unit that I've loved for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what that is. So we'll get there in a minute. Right. Yes. There's also I'll link it in the chat anyway. I'll do that later. Sorry. So, any more Warhammer this week, or should I get on to what I've been up to?
Nope, that's it. So I played the game against Sight. It was a good fun game.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still learning my army basically. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well, good.
Good.
So I went. So I've been about. I've been troopering. So that's really fun. So I was away in London on Friday to Saturday with my Nogle's Rot, and then Saturday I was in the Bad Moon Cafe.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Yeah. So I went there to go and I was me and Mr. Hashtag Too Hot Right Now.
Oh yes.
Or So Hot Right Now. We're going to go for a coffee because I was off to Mr. Adam Chucklebutty's house on the Sunday. Now, this is where I get to admit to you, Nathan, something that you're going to love. So I went to London intentionally and stayed over in London on the Friday so that it would be easier for me to get to Adam's house to get to Adams. Yeah, so I went there. So I was around that part, and then I messaged Ben. I was like, "Hey Ben, I'm going to be because me and Ben have said that we need to go for a coffee for a while."
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'm going to be in London." He's like, "Well, I'm at a tournament at the Bad Moon Cafe. Yeah, join me." And then I went there. Number one, great place.
Yeah,
Really,
it looks great from the photos. So
yeah, really nice. I mean, I didn't play any games. I just sat there doing some work, and then I ended up playing a game about sand at one point. It's just a different thing. But the venue was clean. It was nice. It was in a really nice area.
Yeah.
You could play board games. So this is just my general review. The panini was a 6 out of 10. No offense, Bad Moon Cafe, but it was a fine panini. But I had a pizza later, and I would describe that as a 7 out of 10 on pizzas. So not bad. Coffee though, 9 out of 10. Which is really important to me. Hand dryers, 5. It was fine. But not impressive, but not weak. Yeah, but generally a good.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But then also, because I was dumb, and obviously Ben was like, I'm going to be at a tournament, there was also loads of other cool people there, like Alex Lay. There was loads of cool people who I've never met before who came up and were like, oh, hi, I watched your show, listened to the podcast. I was like, that's cool, that's really nice. Adam Kunis was there. Ming, I saw Ming, we talked about Raw coverage, and he was playing with his Trog Herd concept army.
Nice.
And doing really well. So it was generally just awesome.
It was just a one day, wasn't it?
Just a one day. So they have monthly one day at Age of Sigmar events at the Bad Moon Cafe in central London, which is like not a 15-minute walk from London Bridge. So if you ever get the chance to go there, it looked really cool. The scenery was great. I don't really have much else to say about it apart from it looked sweet.
Yeah.
Overall a great time. I'm gonna just go back and see some of what these guys are saying. Aaron Wilson, have you recently improved the camera sound quality? The camera quality is super crisp and the audio is fantastic tonight. We have. Thanks for noticing. As you guys can see on that little bit, if you look in, you can see that Nathan's got a what's called a directional microphone pointing right at his fucking head. So no matter how much he moves, yeah. I, on the other hand, have a microphone you have to talk into, but because I can control myself, hello. Easy, but thanks for noticing. We appreciate that. Also, George. Also, if you guys haven't done it, I encourage you all to go on to one of the things I did this week was I edited all of the interviews from the team tournament of Blood Tithe.
Oh, yeah.
And they all went up on YouTube. So if you get the opportunity, please go onto YouTube and watch those on The Honest Wargamer because they're awesome. And some of the guys have got some really insightful stuff to say. I would say, there's some great stuff. There's the Marauders guys talking. There's Darren talking. There's Fiction talking. There's Paul Bastian and the Bruces talking, right? And it's worth watching them. I showed that
video to a girl, and she was like, "Oh, is this a rugby team?" I was like, "That's a Warhammer team." It's like fucking sex in t-shirts. But probably the interview that also the Bucklers, like both brothers, totally worth checking out that as well. They've all got really insightful stuff to say about Age of Sigmar, and these are some of the best players in the world. But I do have to say the interview I loved the most was the interview with the Greek guys, and I know George here, so there's Yanis and those guys, and they've got a really small gaming community. But they've become kind of the darlings from the weekend because enthusiastic, their armies were beautiful, they played great games, and they played really fucking well. Yeah. Like, they potentially could have won the tournament, and they've got, like, I think they said their max tournament size ever in Greece was 30 people.
Yeah, I thought he said 20.
I watched
that interview.
Yeah, it might be 20. Yeah. And you watched it. What did you think?
Yeah, it was good. They seem like a real nice bunch of guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. So if you get the opportunity to watch them, please go on them. So they're late. If you're watching on YouTube or watching back on YouTube, just go click back, or I'm sure you know how to navigate YouTube. So yeah, that was a bit. But he asked a question. You guys will attend this year's event in Serbia, the ETC Championships. I don't know. We might have to talk to someone about that, but we might be, if that helps.
Yeah, 20.
And I love how you're taking the microphone away from Nathan, so no more shuffling noise. Amazing. Did you? I would get a pop filter too. Yeah, that's a really good point. One of the other things that got mentioned on one of the YouTube videos, so I went, "I see you've improved the sound. Fucking great job," because it was fucking shit before you did. So I was like, "Wow," and then I just liked it because that's what you have to do with every comment on YouTube. Like. And then Moonturner says, "I've seen some of these vids." So everyone, hey, thanks for the bits donation. Question to everyone in the, if anyone has watched them, did you find those insightful, Nath? Because they didn't get lots of people viewing them.
Yeah, I watched a couple. I watched the Greek guys one. I watched the Marauders one that you mentioned, and I think I saw the one with Darren and
Victor.
Yeah,
Swedish Victor.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed them. They were good. And useful little tidbits here and there. Definitely.
They are, but as content, what do you think about them? Like, is that something you'd like to see from other tournaments?
Yeah, I think they're good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's good. Good value.
All right, nice. Also, hello to Mr. Chuckle Butty TV. Fantastic. Looks like you guys are in a tropical fish tank. Oh, sweet potatoes. Hi, Matt Pashby, one of my favourite people in the world. I kind of fancy him. He's across the world, but over there in America. We're going to see him at Adepticon.
Cool.
Can't wait. Also, Ghoul King Bill. So I was with Ben. I was in London. I went to this thing called the Peckham Levels. Yeah. So this is where Ben. So Ben Sava, if you guys don't know, is a commission painter. Yeah, okay. That's what he does. So there's no way to describe Peckham Levels in any way. I mean, there is. I could literally tell you what it is. It's a roof. It's an old abandoned multi-story car park.
Yeah.
Which the top floor is an open air bar. The rest of it is reclaimed art studio spaces interspersed with vegan cafes, bars, couches across 5 or 6 different levels.
Corduroy shops.
What?
Corduroy shops.
Corduroy shops. All sorts. And then Ben went to show me his studio, and then we went for drinks after, and it was the most cool, hip, place I've ever been in Peckham, which is a little bit distressed, I'd say, as an environment. If you guys don't know, if you guys ever come to England from anywhere else in the world and you think Peckham is an example of England, imagine Peckham is an example of what a Mad Max City would look like. It's fucking awful.
Wow.
Raw denim stores, that's correct. There were loads of those. There was raw food places. There was all sorts. There were no leather backpack stores, but it was really, really interesting because watching Ben in situ and where his studio is and how kind of bohemian it was.
Yeah.
It was incredibly cool because he was telling me that loads of people that in his community are super interested and fascinated in the Warhammer stuff that he does. And that was really fun because one of the things that he was telling me about was you know, like when he first started, he kind of kept it a little bit closeted and hidden away. And we've talked about this before, right? Being Warhammer loud and proud. But he was like, now I just own it, and like everyone in the different like communities come and talk to him. And I just thought that was really cool. And I thought it was really nice because I mean there were no other Warhammer commission painters in that kind of environment, and there are artists and of all sorts, like film, like record, event organizer, all sorts of different things. And he's in there like repping us to everyone, making us not look like the nerds that we fucking are. So beard oil stores, hemp backpacks, there we go. Yeah, only fools and horses.
Oh yeah, they're from Peckham, aren't they?
They are. Hook and Pin says Peckham is horrid. Dad used to work there. Datcom's upset because I think that's where he's from. Hi Surfage. But it was a wicked place. It was really cool. I know this isn't very Warhammer related, but it was a Warhammer person related. Anyway, so then on the Sunday, I ended up going to Chuckabutty's house. So because Chuckabutty was showing me round Canterbury. It's at this point, yeah.
Does he live in Canterbury?
He lives. No wait, I've got this wrong again. Fuck. Where is Shakespeare from? I've been there today. Canterbury.
Shakespeare's not from Canterbury.
He is.
He's from Warwickshire.
No. Shit, where was I today? I was in Canterbury today. Hold on, I've got my train ticket still. But anyway, long story short, I thought he was in flip. I'm so bad at this. That's it. I thought he was in Canterbury, yeah.
Stratford upon Avon.
But he lives in Stratford upon Avon. So my plan to go to London so that it was closer to Canterbury, which I know you're going to love this, was fucking miles away from where I was meant to be. So if you guys want to check on a map, so I was meant to be in Stratford upon Avon, but I ended up in Canterbury. So I was...
You went to Canterbury?
No, I didn't go to Canterbury because I messaged him and I went, all right, where exactly? And then he went, this place. And I went, that's not near Canterbury. So...
No, it's not. Oh man!
And if you guys haven't listened, like if you guys have joined the show and you haven't listened to some of the earlier shows, I'm fairly famous for being incredibly poor with geography, which, as someone who plans to travel the world doing Warhammer coverage, is probably a fucking really terrible skill. So I just thought you'd enjoy that story if I told you.
Great.
So I didn't really want to tell you loads about my personal life there, but I did because it's definitely worth laughing at me. But then Chugabutty put me up for the night, which was lovely. I got to hang out with him and his lovely lady. He showed me his painting studio, which was fun, and then we went around. Oh shit, Stratford, and we checked out Shakespeare's house, which was really fun. And those guys were incredibly generous.
And you went to the Scribes night because they're...
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, that was it. That was the other reason we went down, because I went and played that should have been the thing I mainly talked about. So we went to the Scribes Wargaming Club night that they have in Stratford. Right, but Moonturner says try one of the Amsterdam GTs one time. Fuck yeah, I'd love to do that. So yeah, I went to the Scribes or Wargaming Club in Stratford. I went there. That was really fun. I haven't actually been to a Wargaming Club, Nath, in like maybe 2 or 3 years. Like I played games, but I haven't been part of a club.
Yeah.
Which was really fun, and I got to do a doubles. Me and Chuckles were in a doubles team. He was Stormcast Eternals. I was Flesh Eater Courts. It was great. Yeah. I did terribly. Versus a 3-man team. So we were against Seraphon, we were against Legions of Nagash, and we were against Seraphon, Legions of Nagash, and I don't remember. I do know. What was it? Fuck. Nate, you were there. You weren't there. I can't remember anything today. This is syphilis kicking in. This is what this is. This is. It's been over. Oh yeah, thank you, Chuckabutty. I couldn't remember because
Does that Bretonians?
Because it was Bretonians and they're not fucking real. That's why I couldn't remember. Thank you for running into my jink there, trait there, everyone. Bretonians. I couldn't remember because they were Bretonians and no one. Right.
It's just like when I try and remember what army you normally play.
Wow, my army's real. So it was Bretonians, and guess what? The Bretonians kicked my fucking ass. Yeah?
right? Louis Loncoeur, whatever his name is, yeah, general on Hippogriff, nuked my general, my always strikes first general from Flesh Eater Courts, dead.
Killed him in
Yeah,
combat.
yeah, with some lance dudes, yeah. After I just I went over and I just meandered, I just fingered up the enchantress, yeah, and then I was like, right, I'll double jaw attack him, rolled no mortal wounds. I was like, oh. And then him and the knights ended up killing 2 more Terrorgeists. I was like, fucking Bretonia, this is triggering. Also,
try and fucking take our law. Bang, dead.
Yeah, right? And then I charged a Terrorgeist into like 10 skinks, and they killed 2 skinks, and then the bloody Bretonians came over and killed that Terrorgeist. It's a fucking whitewash. And at the end, At the end, it came down to Chuckles. Chuckles took like a really hard list. His 20 sequitors were fighting against the knights and the Bretonian king.
Yeah.
And the Bretonian king was still goddamn alive. He'd taken on the whole army. Yeah, he was just like just kicking ass. But those 10 skinks were amazing also because they survived 4 ballisters shooting at them, a Terrorgeist charging them, a Terrorgeist shouted at them. They were like, whatever. There's still like 4 of us left. Like we're with this objective. So those guys.
And then our mates come on their hippogriffs and kick your dick in.
But there were also some like new starters in the room, which was really sweet. So this is Scribes War Club, by the way, in Stratford. Scribes Wargaming, which those guys have worked really hard. So they all had like mats. They all had really, really nice scenery. Everything was like it was arguably better than Warhammer World realistically from a table perspective.
Yeah.
So a flat table, scenery. It was really cool. And then there was like another 4-way game happening where Flesh Eater Courts were running up against Dispossessed, and Dispossessed Trollhammer torpedoed them off the board. Yeah, all day long. There was an absolute babe, and I can't remember his name now. Maybe it's Seth or something, who had a Seraphon army that was gorgeous. And if he doesn't go to a tournament soon, I'm going to go back to Stratford. If it's not in Canterbury, and if I can ever find it again, and fight him, because he needs to bring it, because it's just the loveliest army I've ever seen. Like, really, really pretty. Yeah. And at one point, he also summoned the Carnosaurs. Everyone's like, why did you summon the Carnosaurs? Like, I've never done it before, I just thought I'd see what it does.
See what it looks like. Oh, look.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was... like, he was really nice. And then there was also some new people as well. And I saw one guy be really happy that he'd killed a Bloodthirster, obviously without the new rules. And he was like, and then the Bloodthirster got summoned back on. He was like, what the hell? How am I ever? They're all on square bases. He's like, how are you ever meant to kill one of these? And we were all like, yeah, they're rubbish. It's fine. Don't worry. Just chill out. You're good. Well, LV, thank you so much for subscribing for 11 months to the award-winning Honest Wargamer. Whether the Bretonians or FEC gets confusing, they were actually Bretonians. And then my Fey Enchantress is rebased to a 40mm. Guess why? I don't know. I imagine for something good. Anyway, I played Tomb Kings and they beat me, and I had Flesh Eater Courts. That's the story.
Bretonians.
Bretonians. They were fucking good, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it was one 400-point character versus 1,000 points of Bretonians, and the Bretonians did win. But that's a fairly high advantage. I think if I rolled a couple of 6s, I'd have won it. It would have swung the other way, which would have been a really terrible story. But yes, I went to Scribes Wargaming Club. Those guys are lovely. Had a great time. Thank you for inviting me. You guys are great. That's why I stayed at Adam's house. I'd like to go to more club nights in the future. I'd like to go to WS10's nights. If you've got a Wargaming Club and you'd like me to go, and I can fucking figure out where the fuck you live, that I intend to, that would be sweet. Good. Yeah. All right. So that, I think, and then Chucklebutt, if you rolled anything useful, it would have been easier. Yeah, I didn't do great. But it's just nice, man. I like Warhammer. It was fun. I had a great time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if I rolled 6s. Yeah, as a quote. Shit. All right, okay. So should we talk about the new news? Oh, also, I didn't finish off. Thank you again so much to the wonderful Mr. Adam Chucklebutt, who does our infield live reporting. I think, and I can announce now, I can in fact announce right now, so at Bobo, and to his lovely wife, she was just hilarious and keeps him in line, which, as we all know, if you've ever watched any of the live coverage, he needs keeping in line. But yeah, she's an angel, and he's a very lucky man. So at Bobo, we are obviously going to do our classic The Honest Wargamer coverage with some
new elements that no one's ever seen before. But one of the things that we found, obviously, when we were at CanCon, is the wonderful Mr. Dan Shorts worked really, really hard running around all those tables, didn't he? But he could only do so much.
Yeah.
And because Bobo has over 200 players, so it's going to be over 100 matches round, we're going to need more info from the table. So his wonderful brother is joining him. So the Chuckle Buddy team, the Chuckle Brothers.
Chuckle Brothers. To me, to you.
To me. So the Chuckle Brothers will be doing the infield reporting. So that should be we should be able to keep up with more of the stories that are happening in the field at the Bobo event than we ever have before, which is really cool and very nice of him to do so.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Adam is going to be really happy that he gets to be in control of his brother for the weekend. So if you are attending Bobo or you're going to watch the coverage live because they're on this Wargamer, I hope you guys are excited about that.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah. Chuckle version. He's better looking, says Chuckle Buddy TV. The Chuckle Buddies, that's right. And Huckabin says Age of Chumps is something I should go to. We should go to. All right.
The one down near Northampton.
So should we talk about Corn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously the battle tome's not out yet.
No.
Nope. So, but they have shown us some of the prayers.
They have indeed. Yeah.
So Nathan, should we go through it in order, or is there anything you've thought about the Corn stuff? So first off, let's talk about this as a group. Twitch chat, everyone. Let's talk about this. Are you excited that Corn are getting like a revisit? Realistically, because obviously Flesh Eater Courts have had they've reissued the book effectively, and they've done it up. Do you feel Corn was the one that needed the most love, or did you feel like?
Well, I don't think you can say who needs the most love, but I mean, they could do with some love, I guess. So,
I guess so.
Yeah, I think any book that hasn't got endless spells and
terrain
pieces probably feels like they're a bit left out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited about the Chaos Dwarf one coming probably
never ever
on the arse end of absolutely never. So that's their way of making sure my army's never real.
Not a real book anyway, so it's fine. It's a compendium book thing.
And then Sunny says, sure, why not? No one else is waiting. Look at you, Dispossessed. Also, Sanesh. Now Rob will actually have to read and learn the Corn book. I will. That's actually I did say that I did need to update myself on the Corn book.
I think the Slanesh one, hopefully they'll do something similar to like what they did with the releases of the Daughters of Cain and the Legions of Nagash and that sort of thing, where we have a bit of a story, and the malign sorcery stuff. So hopefully they'll continue that story and we get the Slanesh stuff. So hopefully there'll be that sort of a build up towards it. Nice bit of a story. I like a good story.
I like a really good story as well. I would also like to say that we did also see some of the announcements for Warcry, where we saw some sort of skirmish-based Age of Sigmar game with, and I mean this in all honesty, some of the grossest models I've ever seen. In my opinion, they look shit. That's really? I want to be really nice about it. Yeah, have you seen how square the axe pieces are? They look like they've been done in 5 minutes. They look like the scale's weird. They look like a different scale. Do you like them?
I didn't notice. I just saw isn't there a lady with a diving helmet on? I thought she looked pretty good.
Nah, I thought the weapons were weirdly out of shape. I honestly thought that they were. For a moment, I thought because the models in Age of Sigmar are amazing, they're super dynamic. Look at the Nighthorn stuff, right? And then you look at that stuff. I'm like, is that even the same studio? And if you're one of the artists who worked on it, I apologise. I don't want you to be personally offended, but critique my work, I'll critique your work, right?
I didn't jump out at me being poor. I mean, but it's all chaos stuff, isn't it? So I mean, I wasn't that interested, but I thought I quite liked the one with the diving helmet. I thought that was quite
okay.
Cool,
all right, yeah, I didn't like the almost mechanical weird stone weapon, but that was me. I looked at it and I was genuinely very unimpressed, and that's quite hard because obviously everyone always likes new models. Also, just sick of marauders, barbarians. How hard would that have been to have been a bunch of Seraphon, right? If it had been a bunch of Saurus with just big ass weapons in some sort of it's just always the same, Gore Pilgrims.
the starter box just is constantly like, there's another corn human with an axe. Give a fuck. Stop making them.
So that's a it's like a Call to Glory type thing, isn't it? So it's all to do with going to the Varen Spire.
Yeah. Were you bothered? Not bothered.
Not 100% bothered. I read that story. It was pretty good. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a cool game.
Yeah. Okay.
Just it's a bit limited in its appeal. If you're not into the chaos stuff, then you probably won't be as interested. I mean, so it's less interesting to me because I'm loving me gits and always like my dispossessed. So
yeah, I mean, it could have been a bunch of trogs. I don't know. Anyway, look, we'll move on. We're not going to cover that because I don't care. That's all I got to say on that. Right?
Warcry,
yeah. So that's Warcry coming soon from Games Workshop. Like it or don't like it, your choice. A Dino Titan edition does like it. He says, I actually like those models, especially the barbarian ones. So completely disagrees with me. So to vehemently put this in, as I vehemently put it, they're amazing. He really loves it, and he wants to have more of that stuff. So there you go. That's what it sounds like from someone else. Dino Titan says, yeah, it's like a pure chaos game. But it's not, is it? It's just corn and stuff.
No, it's chaos. I would have thought all the gods, because it's for Archaon, isn't it? So it's the call of Archaon. So it'll be the 4 gods. There's some really cool looking beast things, actually. Weren't there? Like some things with wings and stuff.
It's just, you're not getting me on board. I'm sorry.
Obviously not. I thought the beast things looked pretty. Are they Furies or something like that? I thought they looked pretty sweet, actually.
Okay, well, let's just get a quick Twitch chat. Do you love it or do you hate it? That's all. I just want to know. I just want to be like, what are your feelings and what are your thoughts? We'll see what everyone's saying.
I mean, Chaos doesn't grab me, but I was kind of interested in the Furies. I wondered what they were for. Or I'm calling them Furies. I've got no idea what they are really. There were some winged beasts.
A bit closer, if you don't mind. No, just bring the mic towards you so you can lean back a bit more. Okay. That's all. There we go. Smashed it.
Cool.
So in the chat, Fluxy says they look like Furies. Dark Oath release tie-in game. They look interesting, says Hook and Pin. Adam Sinclair looks not great and not he's not a fan. Matt Pashby, they have wings. I'm in, says Matt Pashby. The Furies were cool though. Dino Titan says, I'm with Nate here. Not love it, but like it. Sinise is not a fan. ZP is meh. Zeminis, I don't really care either way, which is fair. Altrius, War Squeak, Skaven Clan Skirmish, which is Fatsnort, when it comes to Chaos, no Sinesh equals no interest. It's a meh from me. Altrios is not a fan. Grobdger, well, Rob doesn't like skirmish games, so I'm not surprised. I like the idea of a game. I love the models for Necromunda. I love the models for Necromunda. I think they're amazing. Just awesome. I'm super into them. I'm like, yes, absolutely. But just, I don't know, if it had been Saurus, that'd have been awesome. Yeah, or more Carrion Overlord sculpts. That'd have been fun. And I love Shadespire, not the game, obviously.
But the sculpts are great.
Sculpts are great. And from everyone who I talk to who plays the game, they love the game. Yeah. Absolutely awesome. If it's for you, that's great. Yeah. Just felt
well, I mean, that game's centered around the Varanspire thing, isn't it? So champions trying to go and join Archaon and be one of his dudes. So yeah.
Adam Sinclair's actually just won the conversation. Nathan, no, just look at me. I got it. I'm going to tell you. Imagine if they'd been orcs.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Wouldn't it be cooler?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be much cooler?
Well, yeah, because destruction's cooler than chaos every day.
Cooler. It's just cooler all day. My whole cooler. Okay. Anyway, back to Korn, because that's what we're actually bloody talking about. I just didn't want to skip that bit of news. Sorry. Korn, they got a new book, which is fun. Yeah. I mean, I for one really like Korn. I've got some. I really, really hope, fingers crossed, that Skarak Bloodwrath, Skarak.
Skarak, the big Korgoroth dude.
Oh my god. I'm going to get checked for syphilis. Skarak, the whatever. The Bloodborne. So the big 4-draw model, so the big Korgoroth. I really do hope that he gets either a points update or a rules update going along with New Korn, because he's basically an unusable ATM. Yeah. But I'm really excited about stuff like Scarbrand and other stuff. Looks like it's going to be pretty deadly.
Well, I mean, depends on the allegiance abilities, how they would affect him as well. because that's where a lot of the power from the books come from.
Yeah.
The allegiance ability. So
Yeah. Why is there still only one fixed pose for models for Korgorath is another great question from Cinder. Like, that's another thing as well. I really like the Korgoraths, and I think that there could have been. I mean, a box set of Korgoraths would just be so sweet. But do they even sell them individually, ATM? I don't think you can buy them. Hello, Arkian.
don't know. I wouldn't know.
All right. Well, with that said, let's talk about the actual rules that we have been told.
Yeah.
And have a bit of a chat about it, if that's
Cool.
cool. So the big thing is the judgments. So these are not endless prayers. Sorry, they're not endless spells. They're endless prayers.
Yeah.
And last week we talked about the fact that maybe it takes blood points to.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. So basically, you either roll like a 3+, a 4+, or a 5+, and then it's just on the board and undispellable, right?
Yep.
Just
pretty horrible, and you can't. The only one that can control them is the player that's summoned them as well.
Yeah.
So you got no chance of like them biting you in the arse. Which is So obviously they're then better than the endless spells, because the predatory spells especially can come back and bite you if there's loads of them on, and your opponent goes second, so they get to control them. But this is obviously playing safer for the Khorne guys. Then what was the other thing? So there is a note somewhere on there that they can disappear, but I've not seen how that mechanic would work.
Haven't seen that yet. No.
So I don't know if they have to keep rolling that 3+ every turn for them to stay on the board, or if there's some other way that they disappear. But that'll be interesting to see.
I think that'll be very interesting to see.
Because at the moment they do look. I know they had a note saying these are harder to summon than endless spells, but they're not really, are they? If one of them's on a 3+, one's on a 4+, and one's on a 5+, is it?
Yeah. Well, we're going to go through.
But they can re-roll that roll as well if they're next to that piece of terrain.
Next to the piece of terrain.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Let's go talk about it, right? And some of the things that we've seen. Or we won't, depending if. There we go. Computer's alive. So first up is the Hexagore Skulls. Right. So this only requires a 3+ judgment roll.
Yep.
Yeah. So what?
A 3+ re-rolling is pretty easy.
Yeah, 3+ re-rolling is pretty easy. If the judgment roll is successful, set up the Hexagore Skull within 6 inches of each other and wholly within 8 inches of the Khorne Priest. So the first thing I've read through is 8 inches on all these seems that's quite limited, really.
Yeah. So short range, and they only all move 8 as well.
Yeah, so when the judgment is set up, the player who set up can immediately make a move with it. In addition, at the start of each of their subsequent hero phases, the player who set this judgment up can make a move with it if it's still on the battlefield. So you get to control it for the whole game, which is pretty great. When you move this judgment, it can move up to 8 inches and can fly, so 16 inches effective range in the first turn, unless there are going to be bonuses to the range these things can go.
When does it move? So it moves
as soon
when
as you set up
it up
immediately, and then in every one of your hero phases.
Okay.
So for that player, so if you're the Khorne player, which is again quite nice, you're going to be able to always move this thing around like 8 inches in every hero phase.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. And they always have to end up within 6 inches of each other. So the Hexagore goes, we haven't read the narrative. Like, we're so keen nowadays. Do you want me to read the narrative a bit?
Yeah, go on. I haven't got it.
Hexagore skulls exist purely to destroy magic. Hunting in tandem, they feed upon the arcane knowledge of their prey, regurgitating the powers they consume as jets of boiling blood whose touch is death to wizard kind. Wizard kind.
Nice.
Subtract 2 from the casting rolls for wizards while within 12 inches of any Hexagore skull models. In addition, if a wizard attempts to cast a spell while within 12 inches of both models from the same Hexagore Skull's Judgment of Khorne, the casting roll is an unmodified 8, and the casting roll is an unmodified 8, then that casting attempt is not successful. That wizard no longer knows that spell, and each wizard within 12 inches of that Judgment of Khorne suffers d6 mortal wounds. So, like, random, it's not something you can prepare for, but...
That's pretty good. So they set up it within 8, they can move 8, so that's 16, and then it's a 12-inch bubble. So that's 28 inches effective from that first turn. and then obviously an extra 8 inches every turn after that.
Mm.
So it covers quite a big area, 12-inch bubble between the two of them, and they're 6-inch apart as well.
Yes, they are. What do you think of that?
Pretty scary for magic armies.
Yeah. Jim 980 says wizard kind was translated into German as wizard children. With secret lightning. Okay. How many mortal wounds did you do with them before? The brass stampede. Oh wait, they're talking about brass stampede, so we'll get to that in a bit. So I mean, I would say that this is
because -2 to cast is pretty.
-2 to cast is fantastic, especially with all it. Like it really does negate the power that we saw from Skaven in its ability to cast. I still say that Skaven fairly reliably get off the vortex because they can sit further back than.
Out of range. Use the 3 dice, choosing the best 2. Sat on arcane.
Yeah,
they're laughing.
They are laughing. Andrew, thanks for subscribing for 11 months. You gorgeous person. They are laughing. So really, really strong.
But if you can get rid of it just means that the slaughter priests are going to become targets now. You want.
I mean, they were targets before, right?
Yeah, I think they've all been very good slaughter priests.
Agreed. We've always, I think the ability, as long as I hope they've still got the come here ability, so the come here prayer. That's really, really strong for me. Although obviously, if you can do 3d6 mortal wounds from 3 different slaughter priests, why wouldn't you? Depending on the right situation, but situationally, they're very. I like them anyway. The Hex Gorger doesn't affect the roll if you use Warpstone, so you still -2 to cast, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll have to reread that X-Tab. But so, is it going to impact a lot of different armies? I mean, Magic's stronger and stronger. Realistically, you would hope it would do pay to the Skaven, but Skaven have got. I mean, what's terrible for the Skaven is because they've got a lot of multicasters and they're going to cast a lot of spells. If they end up being within 12 inches of those, and then they end up rolling the 8, and then they're doing the mortal wounds, effectively my kind of 6 Greyseer list is in a lot more danger.
Yeah, but I mean the Skaven they've all got 5-up ignores, so they're not that worried about it. I doubt it would kill them, and then they've got great ways of being able to pick off the slaughter priests as well. So I think the Skaven have got great sniping abilities. So
okay,
if they can get rid of the slaughter priests, then they're in the game, aren't they? They'll stop all of that stuff happening.
Yeah. All right. I don't think maybe like the -2 to cast is fairly nice. It depends on the cost of those. I would say is the kind of the big factor, because if they're too expensive, then you're just going to rock around. I'm sure there's going to be other ways for Khorne to either unbind, or even just maybe flat out stop spells, which is what I would expect. So Hex Skulls, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, the Bleeding Icon. Yeah. So I'll read it to you, and you can let me know what you think.
Okay.
A common sight in the crimson skies above Khorne's domain in the realm of chaos, a bleeding icon can be summoned in the mortal realms to skewer from on high those who have displeased the Lord of Battle. I do like the idea that the Lord of Blood and Murder has put some sort of like thought into how his realm looks. Like, I like how he's like, oh yeah, I've got a bleed. Like he's showing Nurgle around, right? And he's like, have you seen my? I've got a bleeding icon up here. What are your thoughts? Like, it's a bit too red for me, but it's fine. It's fine. It's kind of
could do with a bit of mould on it.
Yeah, it could do with a bit of mould on it. It's not like a Malm from IKEA, is it? But it's like it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then the Judgment of Khorne. So it's cast on. So it's rolled on a 4-up re-rolling if you're on the build. And it's set within 8 inches. Then a drifting menace, glowing red hot with Khorne's fury. The brutal sigil is compelled across the battlefield with supernatural force. When this judgment is set up, the player who set up can immediately make a move with it, and it moves 8 inches. And then, in addition to the start of each of their subsequent hero phases, the player who set this judgment up can make a move with it if it's still on the battlefield. When you move this judgment, it moves 8 inches.
There you go.
So 8 inches, so 16-inch range. Crushing retribution. The bloodied spikes of the judgment pulverize those beneath them with the crushing weight of a portcullis.
Nice.
Very nice. After this model is moved, each unit that has any models it passed across, and each other unit that's within 1 inch of it at the end of the move suffers D3 more wounds. Whatever. Sigil of Doom, shedding gore as it hoovers menacingly. Well, not hoovers, hovers. As
I was wondering why Corn had it. It says Hoover.
The corn hoover? What the hell? As it hoovers menacingly in the air, the bleeding icon is a fearsome portent of doom. If a unit fails a battle shot test within 3 inches of any models with this ability, add D3 to the number of models that flee. This ability has no effect on core units. I think that that's brilliant, personally.
Yeah. Because doesn't that Skarak guy, what does he do? He does a bravery thing as well, and the Chaos Knights do. So there's quite a few ways where you can get the bravery debuff. Skarak.
Korgoths. Did anyone mention Korgoths?
Korgoths.
What about the giant Korgoth, Skarak?
Yeah, Skarak. What does he do again?
-1 bravery to everyone within 12 inches.
There you go. Yeah.
Used to be -2, and then they decided to fuck Rob. They're like, fuck you, Rob. You're not the only guy in the world who has that giant Korgoth. But then, so in Khorne, you can have the giant Korgoth, the mini Korgoths.
Yeah.
So you can get -2 pretty easy, which is quite nice. Chaos Knights with Mark of Khorne, as you've said. Chaos Warriors. So there's actually a lot of minus bravery debuffs in Chaos generally.
Yeah.
So like the ability to
and then scare them off with this bleeding icon, hoovering.
Yeah, right. How cool would that be? So then, hoovering up your other dead models. I mean, D3 is big because if I can make, so units that I want this to affect, Zangor Enlightened, big unit at 9, and I now want to make 1 plus D3 run away.
Yeah.
It's quite scary. I want Idneth Eels because they normally suffer pretty badly from battle shock.
Yeah.
And they only have to be. Let me get this right. It can be multiple units, right?
Yeah.
If a unit fails a battle shock test, So Storm Sequitors, I want another D3 of them to run away. So Storm Fiends, I want another one of them to run away.
All of them to run away.
Yeah, I mean, I want every one of them to run away. But I mean, D3 can be a whole squad of Storm Fiends. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, depending on how I'm building my Khorne 8 army, if my plan is to it doesn't affect Grots, you don't really care. Although, no, you don't really care, do you?
Extra D3.
Yeah. D3
Not
more
really.
Grots.
Yeah.
So now it's just Bob and his 2 mates, as opposed to. But those elite armies. So I actually like this more than I like the Hex Gorger, depending on the build.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, and it's a long range attack thing, because Khorne struggles for range, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But now you've got something that's got a bit of range, so you can boil some blood, send a Hoover over.
The Hoover's the best part. I really want the Hoover. So you can wait until the battle shock phase to make them immune, but normally there aren't many armies. So with the reactive battle shock, so inspiring presence, like number one. So I've how to. Let's just say I've seen some fairly high-end gamers. Nathan, in order to do Inspiring Presence, what do you need to do?
You need a command point and a hero close by.
Yes, you do. Just in case anyone, no matter which Warhammer team representing which country in the world, or however many tournaments you've ever won, don't forget, in order to use Inspiring Presence, you need a hero within 6 inches or your general within 12 inches. Yeah, some people don't remember that. I've seen several times in the past week. They're like, Inspiring Presence. I'm like, no, never mind, it's not my game. That's fine. So, yeah, it's quite useful because sometimes you won't have a character nearby.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Well, if you can kill him with, those last 3 D3 mortal wounds from that thing, and a bit of boiling blood boil from your slaughter priest.
Yeah.
And then you've killed that hero that they've snuck up behind the unit to try and keep them there. And then now you can make loads run away after you stab them. So it's great.
Agreed. Oh, Tugboat. I was also told Tuggy was the guy playing with Dispossessed at the Scribes event this weekend.
Good man.
Just
Good man.
dicking Flesh Eater Corpse characters with
torpedoes.
With torpedoes from Trollhammer. Are they called Trollhammer or have they changed to Troggoth?
They're called Grudge Bearer torpedoes.
Grudge Bearer torpedoes.
It's Grudge Hammer torpedoes or something like that. Yeah.
Does that Hoover make feline-based armies immediately fee? It would be cool if there was a cat army, right? And then the final judgment.
Yeah.
The judgment is the Wrath Axe. So there we go. So the Wrath Axe is a single model, and a Wrath Axe is a manifestation of Khorne's otherworldly anger. Its razor-sharp edges, glowing red, hot from Blood God's rage, at signs of weakness or wizardry. What's that over there, Pete? I reckon that's a fucking bunch of wizardry.
What's that? Weakness or wizardry?
What you do, Ranger? You got a bit of wizardry going on. Such a blazing axe appears in the air, splitting reality with its downward stroke. So it's a 5+ to get this, so it's going to be a lot harder to do. Obviously done by a Khorne priest. Then you've got Flung with Fury, forged from the pure rancor, a Wrath Axe of Khorne's hatred incarnate. So you set it up within 8 inches of the caster, wholly within, and then it moves 8 inches and flies. And then again, if you set it up, you can move it around. Hatred's Edge, the supernatural blade, scrapes across the ground, its razor edge cutting in half those too slow to get out of its way. It then rises in the air before smashing down with deadly force upon Khorne's enemies. After this model has moved, roll a dice for each unit that has any models it passed across on a 2+, suffer D3 more wounds. Then the player that set up this model picks one enemy within 3 inches of this model and rolls a dice. The enemy unit may be one of this model's passed across on a 2+, suffers D6 mortal wounds. So you can do D3 and D6 mortal wounds to unit.
That's great as a hero sniper, isn't it?
That's really, really strong. Right, and it happens in the hero phases, so you can't do it to something like Marathi. But D3 plus D6 more wounds is pretty scary. But it's not. I mean, it's not overly fast. It moves 8 inches, and you set it up within 6, so it's not something you're going to use in the first turn. You're going to wait.
Yeah.
But that's good if the opponent's going to come and punch you.
Yeah.
And then Reality Cleaved, the brutal cutting edge of this infernal axe tears at the very fabric of the mortal realms.
Oh yes.
Yeah, sending senses reeling. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by units within 3 inches of this model, but it doesn't affect Khorne. What do you think?
So it's a -1 to hit thing as well.
Yeah, but only within 3 inches. Yeah.
That's pretty good though.
Aaron Wilson AoS says that the spell looks like a vagina. If our female mod would like to ban him right now, you can unban him in like 1 minute, but that's fine. But no, it's okay. We can say the word vagina. That's okay. What do you think of that? Obviously, this is all depending on points, but we haven't done points
obviously
yet.
It'll depend on the points, but again, some more ranged output. The -1 to hit is pretty good, I reckon.
Yeah, within 3 inches. Yeah, especially because it's a combat-orientated force.
Yeah.
So having combat is...
Well, it's going to be like a Geminids thing, isn't it? So this and a Geminids, -2 to hit on a unit.
Yeah, ally in a wizard.
And they've taken in D3 and a thingy. Yeah, if you ally in a wizard. But now you don't need to ally in the wizard if you want to have the same effect, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, -1.
The lovely 2+ Tough has joined us from his YouTube channel. If you guys ever want to check that out, thanks for joining us.
Cool.
And then Archeon says, I'd rather take a Chaos War Shrine over a Sword Priest. Apparently the axe is 60 and the other two are 40 from his photographic memory. Thank you, Mr. Adam Sinclair. So 60 points for the axe. Yes. I'd say that I'd have that in the list.
Yeah, because
turn 1, right? You stick your Slaughter Priest on top of the tower. You do your 5+ rerollable. You get it out, and then you've got these things just running around. They're unkillable, and they're doing damage,
and they can't hurt you.
And they can't hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're in control of them for the game
all the time.
Yeah.
So.
And undispellable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that they're probably all 3. Would I take all 3?
Depends on your army build.
It does depend on your army build. Yeah. Probably the one that's the one you would take the least would be the Gate, so the Hoover,
the Icon.
The Icon, but that would be only because you would be looking for a bravery debuff army. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 points for D3 mortal wounds is sweet.
Yeah.
And Riffa says, wait, so these predatory spells aren't controllable by your opponent?
Not
No.
as far as I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, only the Khorne player only the guy that casts the judgment can use them. So
Exactly.
even if there's 2 Khorne players. But then, does it say it doesn't affect Khorne players, some of them?
It doesn't affect Khorne. Yeah.
Ah.
So it doesn't affect Khorne units, the Wrath Axe. But no, that's only its -1 to hit.
Oh, okay.
So the mortal wounds
Still
would.
do mortal wounds. So
Bleeding icon. So the Sigil of Doom, so that's make D3 units run away, doesn't affect Khorne units. But you can
still do the
do D3 mortal wounds. And then the Hexagon Skulls.
Well, that was not going to affect Khorne wizards, is it? Because they don't got none.
Well, they need some Khorne wizards, right? Yeah,
Don't got none.
They've got none, but they can ally in Zinch.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Check out. Thank you very much, Adam Sinclair, for more. Yeah, everyone can hear Jet snoring. No, don't take the mic there. Just leave it. It's fine. Is he on your lap?
No, he's just there. Yeah.
Make sure you haven't fucked that up. It's solid. I believe in you so much. Right. Finally, the altar. Actually. So, what do you think? Would you stick by them? Would you take if you're a Khorne player? And how would you feel playing against them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit gutted I can't take control of their bloody axe, but hey ho.
Yeah. Just punch it back. Well, like we've said, there might be something inside of the book where you are able to remove them from play. But if not, they sound really, really worthwhile, especially the axe.
I really like the sound of the axe. Just giving you that extra range when you need it. Great to take out those little heroes that are buffing units. Standing behind a unit, like my Loon boss. He stood behind a unit. He's -2 to hit against shooting, but they got none. But now they can just hit him with an axe and that'll kill him.
Yeah.
And then make the unit -1 to hit that he stood in front of.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Aaron Wilson AoS says that he would really like there to be some affirmative action in Khorne armies in hiring some wizards in and allying them in. And then Archeon said, "Get him." And 2 Stuff says in one of the preview articles it mentioned that there was a chance that they would go away every turn, but I haven't seen anything to back that up. Yeah, so until this is the problem with. I did have a big long conversation with Adam yesterday about the stuff we do on the show, and Nathan, we're going to have a conversation about it later because obviously with all of the new stuff coming out, it's a lot to take in, and obviously wonderful people like 2 Stuff will do really good reviews. But we don't get anything early, and also I like to wait till the FAQs are out because currently, and let's move on to Wrathmongers. Yeah, and so all of the spells sound great. I love that Khorne are able to. Number one, I think it's super exciting that Khorne have got endless spells and a scenery piece.
Yeah.
I also think it's really, really great that armies that don't have wizards, Kharazan Overlords, Dispossessed,
Have got a chance of getting them now.
have got
a chance of getting something.
Yeah.
That has a similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the rule is, according to Wargaming Dad, who I'm a big fan of, you roll at the end of the round on a 5+. They stay or they disappear.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Nice. So there we go. Don't forget the order. You didn't talk about that. Okay, we'll talk about the order. So yeah, are you a little bit more excited about the fact that? Yeah, are you pumped that things like Dispossessed and other armies now have got a chance to get something similar?
Yeah, definitely. The more shit, the better.
Yeah. Do you think it makes narrative sense? Do you mind its inclusion? Look, we all want there to be cool models that we can use in our army, right? And I don't mind Games Workshop shoehorning them in any way, shape, or form. But
I mean, at the end of not really, because at the end of the day, this is all from the Necroquake thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously, I know Khorne and the Dispossessed, all the true dwarves, they won't use magic. But then at the end of the day, what they use is still magic. The magic runes rely on a magic of sort, but they're just controlling it in a different way. Same with the Khorne stuff. It is a magic. So that source of whatever magic comes from is obviously going to be more fired up now that everything's all stirred up. So they're going to have better things, more, because that's where the endless spells are.
Yeah, that's where they come from.
Stuff has just become more.
There's more magic potency in there.
So it's going to be the same for all the other things that magic results in, really.
I really hope, now this is obviously wild speculation, but I really do hope the next iteration of the story in Area Sigma, and I do like that our models represent like the Necroquake is great. Yeah, I mean, I would be really upset if the next edition of AoS, the Necroquake, goes away and there are no more Endless Spells, but I don't think they'll do that, right?
No.
I think it will constant. But then I would like if the next stage is now like the Gurquake, right, where now every army has access to a random monster that appears. Yeah, that would be
That's
sweet
cool. Yeah.
potatoes. Gargants of all varieties. Something like that would be fun. And I think it's a great way of making additional models for an army without it needing to be units or like...
Yeah, and it's just something different now that's in the army. You know, the Endless Spells are great. The models are cool. They're not very overly complex to paint up or get ready.
But they are complex to play.
They can be complex to play.
They're complex to play well.
Yeah, they can be, definitely. And they just look cool on the board. All of these crazy things flying around, doing stuff. Or not flying around, making you not do stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, good. All right, you like
I'm
it.
in.
Yeah, is that your dog story day? Yes.
Yes, it is.
As a Skaven player, I agree. Endless Spells are a great addition to the game. Shut up, Mark. Yeah, that's the captain of Team Wales. Yeah, who
wants to play as Rat Trap all over the place
all day. Yeah.
Jet, stop snoring, man. Everybody's listening to you. What are you doing?
All right, Jet. You're right, my friend. Yes, good. All right. Right, Nathan, I'll do the last one in an accent you are likely familiar with. Sounds like you. Ready? So, the Skull Altar, which is the scenery piece for the Blades of Corn book. It's really nice. Rising from the ground, the Skull Altar is formed out of the violent tributes heaped in offering for Corn's frame. From atop the grisly pedestal, a priest of Corn roars out invectives, evoking the judgments of the blood god to smite down all signs of weakness and once again, bit of sneaky wizardry. That might be, I've gone Cornish.
God, no, I don't know.
So if you have got a Skull Altar, it's a single for 20 feature, and obviously you get a free one in your Blades of Corn army. Scenery rules, words of 8. As much of a platform of violent oratory as blood sacrifice. So much like most altars, the exhortations of Corn's priests echo from this brass-clad edifice, like the tolling of infernal bells. Or, no, there's too many easy jokes. You can re-roll prayer and judgment rolls for friendly Corn priests only within 8 inches of this one little fella.
Wow.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Especially as it has to be only within your deployment zone. So 12 inches in, but then your priest is 8 inches away from him. So 20 inch is from your backboard. It's quite a lot of range.
Yeah.
It's nice. And then Witchbane, the Skull Altar devours arcane power like a whirlpool, dragging ships to their doom. Right, subtract 1 from casting rolls for wizards while they're within 16 inches of this here little fella.
Oh, 16 inches.
Yeah, well, so what are your thoughts?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, so they're just going to be buffing the judgment rolls. So if you're not going to get the if you're not going to go with Slaughter Priest, you're not going to bother with that fella, are you? Really?
No, but you're probably going to take Slaughter Priest, right?
You would have thought so.
Yeah.
The models are cool, and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think it's the worst scenery piece that's been released so far, personally. But I like it. It's fine. I mean, I like that everyone gets one, but I think the Cornate one is a bit like me. Because it's kind of like that, and the Flesh Eater Corpse one, it's like, it's a building with like a thing on.
An
like,
altar.
all right. Yeah.
Not into altars.
Yeah, like they've got that new kid who worked on Warcry working on these things, whoever he is. Twitch chat, please tell me know what you think. Everyone in the chat said, is Nathan a Kiwi? Because that's my accent. Tomlet says, can we get subtitles? AD Max says, sounds like an extra from Mary Poppins. Arkia says that's a little bit of Victorian London in there also. Rob's gone New Zealander. The Tomb King Tristan saying it's terrible, and if he could ban me, he would.
definitely needs moderation.
Rufus says all armies need cool terrain pieces, in my opinion. And yes, I'm sorry that Khorne don't get one.
It's not as cool as Loon Shrine, that's for sure.
It's nowhere near as cool. I mean,
the Loon Shrine is sweet.
Yeah, they really have it's ebbed and flowed, right? They're like boats riding it. You're like, like
they look pretty good. I think
they do look pretty good, but and then they went Legions of Nagash. You get a marker. Legions of Nagash, you're like, oh,
an imaginary point.
Yeah, yeah. Stormcast, you're like nothing, like cool. And then Nighthorn, yeah. And then they were like, oh wait, what? Beast of Chaos, Herdstone.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Knocked it out of the park with the Herdstone. Love the Herdstone. Loon Shrine, ridiculously good.
Even best. That's the Loon Shrine's the best.
I like that. I think I prefer the Herdstone.
No, fuck you.
That's fine. I agree with that. And then they went Fleshy at Courts. I was like, that sucks, in my opinion. What do you think?
Not as good as the Loon Shrine.
Okay. And then the Warp Tunnels, wicked.
Not as good as the Loon Shrine.
I think the Warp Tunnels are wicked. I think they look great. That says I like my imaginary points. You leave me alone. So yeah, I think the portals were great. And then they were like Khorne thing. I was like, oh. I hope the Free People's thing is a pub. How good would that be? They're like +1 bravery to everyone near the pub. What would you have for the Free Peoples? Yeah, a pub. Oh, let's do this. Everyone in the Twitch chat, Nathan, brand new game. Welcome to Rob's What Scenery Piece for which
thing?
For which army? So we'll start with the Free Peoples. Nathan?
Wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow. A farm. What about a small a pumpkin patch to defend?
Yeah. It'll probably be just some barricades or something, or a little fortification.
Oh yeah.
Or like an altar to Sigmar, something like that.
Yeah, a town hall. Yeah. An altar to Sigmar is probably what they would do. That'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? But that makes sense. Boddington's ice cream van, a giant statue of a codpiece. They get a brothel. So if your army is rubbish, they can fuck off and have a good time at least. Okay. A cog fort, says Toon King Tristan. That sounds fun. Yeah. And Gursey says a hamlet. Okay, fair enough. So something to defend, to make them braver, right?
Yeah.
Goldberger says, I love my Herdstone, but after painting a fire effect, it does look like a penguin with a serious STD infection. Well, okay. A statue of Sigmar. Says Ratasanti, that dude you get in the giant kit, the running man. Hans.
Yeah,
Hans. Okay. So that's Free Peoples.
Yeah.
We'll set them off. Oh, what chaos hasn't been done yet?
Slanesh.
Moving on. No answers, please, to each chat. We want no answers to the Slanesh question for the scenery piece. But please publicly think about it on Twitter or in Facebook groups that have been moderated by Wargaming Dad. I think seriously, your statue of Sigmar makes the most sense. It probably does, but therefore
it'll probably be a multi-part thing. The Slanesh one, at least 2 pieces, similar to a Norhall.
Well, so let's move on.
And a Herdstone.
We're moving on. What about Ironjaws? Scenery piece for Ironjaws.
Oh, it's going to be a big.
I would like if it's the Idol of Gork, and you have to go buy it from Forge World, and it's £90.
Something like that.
The Rogue Idol of Gork done, but in plastic. Rogue Idol of Gork in plastic. # revealed here.
A
Mork Shrine, Rogue Idol. A rock. Charles Black. Oh, Charles Black is in the chat. What a gorgeous man. Maybe a penis owl like the one in Canberra. There's a penis owl? What the hell is that?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, alright, sure. Alright, that's fine. Right. Okay, let's move on. So, we've done Ironjaws. What other armies are there in the world?
Seraphon.
Oh, a Ziggurat. It's got to be a Ziggurat.
A Ziggurat or a birthing pool.
Oh yeah, birthing pool would be quite cool, actually. I'd quite like that. Or like, it'd be cool if they could do something to do with the stars or the constellations.
Spaceship
done.
Shuttle. The shuttle.
I want them to have a Stormbird. Yeah, also agree to the shuttle. A drop pod. Yeah. spaceship, would it not just be a bed? Oh yeah, for dreaming.
Yeah.
Fucking birthing pool would be so cool. Yeah, a warm rock for Seraphon. That'd be cool because they're lizards. Yeah, but also the Big Dipper, maybe a lamp, orbital assault laser, just a big spaceship.
A vivarium lamp. Yeah.
I'm going to take a picture of a 40k plane I've got and it'll be like, new Seraphon scenery incoming.
Yeah.
A spaceship gas station. Okay, so Seraphon either get birthing pools, a ziggurat, something to do with constellations, or a spaceship.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done their endless spells there as well. I mean, no problem at Games Workshop. It's just our email is what else? Dwarves. Thank you. So dispossessed. Alchios made a good point there. Oh no, Tugboat said mines could be the scenery piece.
Yeah, a mine or a brewery.
It's going
to be a brewery.
You think it'll be a brewery?
Yeah.
Okay, but then moving on, because Tugboat's already nailed it for us there. He jumped the gun. He's like, I'm telling you what we're having now. Either mines or a brewery. But for the Fire Slayers,
volcano.
A
volcano.
A volcano. Big gold pile. We have done this before, haven't we? We've done scenery pieces before.
I don't think so.
No, we did. No. But scenery pieces.
Yeah, a volcano, because they call volcanoes out of the ground, don't they? It's going to be volcanoes all over the place.
Fuck.
Like they're tunnels. It'll be like Norholes, but proper
volcanoes firing out a fire slayer. Yeah, that sounds great. Like Christian Bale in Rain of Fire, just jumping off the top with the axe. But okay, all right, done. Arsner says Phoenix Temple gets a flame that resurrects your Frostheart Phoenixes for free. That would be cool if it was like if it was like an ever living flame, and if your Frostheart died, you had a marker, and if you could get a unit to take the marker back to the fire, you could rebirth your Phoenix.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Especially if the game was 10 turns long.
Yes. Especially, I mean, that would help with many of these scenarios, yes.
What about the... what about the pirate dudes?
Oh, who? Scourge Privateers?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they need a oh no, wait. What about a pirate boat that's on...
A proper pirate boat, not one that's wrecked.
No, a raft. No, because you'd have to put them all on, because it doesn't make sense. Because the whole point about the raft is that the Idneth somehow bring the sea with them. So the pirates can't bring the boat with them because they haven't got any powers that do that. So they need...
something else that pirates have.
Oh, what about... Do you remember the old Marienburg land ship?
Yeah.
So if you guys are new to AoS, there was a model called the Marienburg Landship, which was a really cool model that you might be able to pick up on eBay. But they could have some sort of like roadworthy pirate boat that just travels along the land, something like that, right? Yeah, right, nice. A big flag. They could just have a big flag.
Jolly Roger.
Just a giant Jolly Roger flag. That's it. Yeah, done. That's better. That's better than the other thing. Yeah. Swift Hawks get a mailbox or something. Yeah. Swift Hawks get
just a load of post boxes.
Loads of post boxes dotted around, and you get movement buffs in between them. Yeah, or something. Just
get extra. You get your own objectives. Everybody else fights for theirs. You just fight for your own objectives that you put wherever the fuck you want.
That would be so good. That would be like, imagine how game changing that would be if one army could dictate where their objectives were that they had to score, as opposed to the scenario objectives. That's actually really interesting, Nath. Good job. You should be a game designer.
Sure.
Yeah, post pigeon boxes. There we go. Archean, sorry to derail, but did we cover the unit changes to Khorne, or will that be done during the book review? We'll do that mainly in the book review, but we'll move on because I have derailed us. What we were talking about were the changes to the best unit in the game, Wrathmongers, and how sad it is. So they've effectively taken away Wrathmonger's ability to take over a model when it dies and kill it. So one of the things we did talk about when we talked about Fleshy Courts and how strong they were, we were like, oh, don't worry, you've got things like Wrathmongers, they're really hard to use because they're quite slow. Like, if your monster who's movement 14 is being charged by Wrathmongers, you've probably fucked that up somehow. So, like, what do you think, Nathan, when you saw it? Have you seen that change?
Yeah. So it stops the ability when you kill the Wrathmonger that you would send a model in a certain range into a rage, and it would just either kill itself or kill stuff around it. So yeah, it was pretty cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, it's so now all it does is just on a 4-up or something they do mortal wounds to themselves. On a 6-up they do like more mortal wounds sort of thing. Yeah. So you still got a chance for hurting yourself, but just not outright killing yourself if you're Nagash or a Feck Lord on a zombie dragon or a Terrorgeist.
Which were they were like the reason monsters like I mean Khorne's popularity has waxed and waned depensively. Like it's not a word.
Some sounds.
Some sounds I mean. But yeah, so yeah, Khorne has waxed and waned realistically in competitive play. But for me, one of the narrative elements of the Wrathmonger's box was. Like I loved them because they were a counterplay army and they were counterplay unit, and arguably so difficult to use realistically because they were slow.
But they would zone out areas on the board because nobody would want their monster to get into. Yeah, you don't want them too close to those Wrathmongers because then they could just run out and charge you, and then you end up killing yourself. So yeah, or else, I mean, originally it was you didn't have to attack them, so then they were just interesting because you could just charge them into somebody and they would just be like, oh no, I can't attack, I'll just stand around doing nothing for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for me I found it an incredibly fun mechanic to use and also to have it to as a incredibly unique mechanic that made me quite concerned and allowed my opponent to have, like you said, some board control. Yeah. And it would mean that, like, I would send a unit to go and fight them, like, or invariably for the reason they mainly fell down, or the reason they got taken less and less was because you could just shoot them out. They were quite expensive for what they would do, and they would be pretty unsurvivable. Yeah. But I found them really, really good in the game, and I'm really sad that that's gone, if I'm honest. Like, because I thought it was a cool mechanic. I really liked it. You didn't see them often. There were ways to deal with the unit really well, and it was beautiful, especially with those fleshy quartz characters. Just like, I'm going to romp around, like, cool, I've lined my army with 4 units of Wrathmongers. Your go. It's like, oh, flip. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really see why it would go away.
I guess it's quite hard to point an ability like that, isn't it? Because it is something that some of the time is pretty useless, but then when it does happen, you can end up having Nagash killing himself, so it's something that such a big swing. So it's quite hard to point something like that, I would have thought.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that bit. When did we decide that they were attributing points based on things that occurred in the game? Was there a memo that I missed, or
no? Fuck knows. That would be my thoughts on the matter if I was deciding.
I would say based on the points. It seems like all of it's hard to point for.
Yeah, well, this is true. This is true. Yeah.
Okay. So to read what the chat's saying, because Grobler says, "Night Tuggy, by the way, if you're still there. Good riddance. It was an awful mechanic in all ways. Same with their buff." And LV disagrees. Arcan, yeah, super useful unit before, but they were just pricey. And Grobler again says weird interaction that needs to be streamlined. Wargaming Dad says they were awesome before, and I agree with that. Meermouse says the mechanic might come back in some buff somewhere, so that might be. Yeah. So it might be nice if that buff is to be able to apply to any unit that you have. But that was kind of their thing, right? And then Meermouse says it's what happened to some of the Plague Monk stuff that I liked as a Nurgle fan, a Plague Monk fan, and now a Skaven fan. So I don't know. I personally really liked it, and I am really.
They still buff units, but only Khorne units now, don't they? With the +1 attack.
Yeah. So they give Khorne units +1 attack, which hasn't been FAQ'd yet, but currently you'd be able to do that to, let's say, 4 Skull Cannons, taking them from however many shots that they're going to have to how many shots to +1 shot. Yeah. So if it does take them up from 1 shot to 2 shots, that actually could be quite. I mean, depending how cheap they come, that could be something that's a thing.
Yeah.
4 Skull Cannons firing out.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that out because that's bait. Alright, I'll read it. Fine. Read Jervis's article on points. They have an algorithm, then playtester adjust on how the unit feels.
There you go. That's that good old algorithm.
Okay.
It's working its socks off.
That's the most hardest working algorithm in the world. Anyway, so yeah, I really liked that, and I think we couldn't do the corn kind of conversation with the news so far because I'm excited about the prayers. I'm really excited about all of the FAQs and everything, all going into a brand new book that will then need some more FAQs. But currently, I'm like really excited. It's going to be condensed again. That's exciting because there was lots of janky stuff everywhere, right?
Yeah. So it'd be good to see the new corn book, definitely.
Dino Technician says, tweak that algorithm for the hard boys. Then Grobler says, rock solid method with some dots. And then Meow says, feels in quotation marks, my blood runs cold. So maybe they should be careful about what they print sometimes. I'm sure that it's a little bit more complex than feels. Probably. Maybe. Your choice, Steve. Yeah, anything else to say about the Rathmonga change? Not bothered?
Not until we see the rest of the book.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So I also am not too interested in speculating too much more, apart from the fact I am excited.
Yeah.
It's another combat-heavy army, depending on how much we see, any other changes. There was also just the Skull Reapers as well, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
So Skull Reapers, which is the other way that you build Rathmongers, they have that was a very complicated war scroll. They had like several different weapons, right? And now they just all do the same thing.
Oh, okay. So just streamline the profile so they all attack the same. They all look different, but they just do the same thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of dull. Like it's kind of like you wouldn't want that to happen because in the R Boys you've got like the pincer guy, right?
Oh no, the brutes?
The brutes, yeah. You got the pincer boy and then the
gore hacker guy and then the normal guys. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want that to be too complex. Yeah, you wouldn't want that. But I mean, with the Ard Boys themselves, if they made them all attack with the same weapon profile, it'd probably be.
Would you, as an Ard player, would you be better?
Yeah, not brutes, but Ard Boys. Yeah.
But if it was brutes,
yeah, because otherwise, when you got a big unit of 30 of them, then you're counting them.
But what about brutes then?
Brutes, no. Keep them as they are. I mean, because there's only ever one dude with a pincer, but you might have 3 gore hacker guys.
Yeah. Whereas the Skull Reapers were more an elite unit, right? They were.
Yeah, but you still got the mutated dudes in there as well, so they're a different profile. So there's 2 profiles. Yes.
There's 2 profiles. That's it. Whereas before there was like 5.
Yeah. I think 2 to 3, not 5.
2 to 3 is fine. 5's too many.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, that's fine. Yeah, there you go. Hi, Dave Fraser. Just during what's today's topic? Whipping boys of AoS. We're talking corn currently, and then down tight just says units of 30. We're talking about Ard Boys, and he's very stressed by that volume. Rufos also, thank you for subscribing for 3 months in a row. You're a babe. And Dino would be painting Ard Boys until he's retired, if that was the case. Okay. So yeah, I think we've covered those. Also, the fact Scarbrand can do 16 mortal wounds now instead of 8 damage with no saves of any kind.
Yeah.
How do you feel about 16 mortal wounds?
Sounds like he's in the competition with the old Flesh Eater Courts dudes to do mortal wounds. So yeah,
yep,
go for it.
What about so Scarbrand's, like, if you guys are unaware, Scarbrand's like, he's going to be crap. I'm going to call it here. This is a guess. This is the most fun thing about not being a playtester or knowing anything. I'm going to be crap. Do you know why? It'll be movement 8. And he can't fly because the narrative says he can't fly. Yeah. His wings have been ripped apart, so he's not a flying bloodthirster. And he's going to have a 4+ save. They're not going to change it to a 3+, and he's going to have 12 wounds. And someone's going to shoot the fuck out of him in a turn. He'll die to warp lightning cannons like it's going out of fashion.
But then somebody that didn't bring any guns is going to take
16 more wounds to the teeth. Yeah, that's true. But I highly doubt you'll see him in competitive play. But we'll see, because again, that's me guessing.
I would have thought they've got ways for stuff to run and charge. Then you've also got the Slaughter Priest to draw people closer to him. So he's still going to be bashing people with
potentially. And just like Mimau says, 16 mortal wounds to chaff. Those, do you know what? What won't happen is what happened to me with those skinks. Those 10 skinks are dying.
They'll be dead.
They'll be dead. Yeah.
But I mean, if somebody's got a Dragon Lord and he's sat behind 10 skinks, and then they say with the Slaughter Priest, "Come here, Dragon Lord," and he comes there, and then Scarbrand wanders over and bashes him.
Which is why I hope they
he
keep
will
that.
be bashed.
Exactly, that's why I hope they keep that mechanic in, realistically.
Yeah.
He'll hit and kill 16 of my chain rasps, only for me to bring most of them back, says Rufus.
It's true.
So I just want to make sure I get Mr. Mephisto. Scarbrand will be crap at 60 more wounds and arbitrary and lazy design, which is... I quite like the 8 saves of no kind allowed, but we'll see. But yeah, the fact that he doesn't fly, the fact... I mean, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he might be like 120 points, in which case... we're all fucked, maybe, but you're going to take one of them, right? So it's okay.
A unit of 5 Scarbrands.
Well, he's unique. There'll only be one of them as well. And then we also saw the Brass Stampede. There's some gossip about that. They can do D3 mortal wounds on the charge if there's a unit of 6 of them, each one of them. So it'll be 63 mortal wounds that you got to roll 2 pluses on. Fine, sure. Okay, so they're giving away mortal wounds. So that's kind of the final part of that conversation, I think. Yeah. It seems like now we're 3 books into this kind of what seems to be a new design methodology of giving a lot of mortal wounds out to armies. How do you, as the Gits book, which feels like it was done under the final iteration of the last phase of books, it feels like, and this is just feels, so it's a lot like how they do the points. Of all of the armies, the 3 new ones seem to be under a different design mechanic to the previous books, with the Gits being the last book.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I don't know. Yeah, they seem pretty killy, but then Daughters of Cain is still pretty killy, really. So same sort of level of killiness, I reckon. A Daughters of Cain army is still. But less mortal wounds than the Daughters of Cain army. They're just stabby, aren't they?
Yeah.
Only. So yeah, I think Daughters of Cain still holds up good on the old books, and the other ones that, at this rate, they'll have them all done by this time next week.
The battle tomes?
Yeah, they're flying through them.
Yeah, are you happy about that? Realistically?
Well, the faster they do them, then the more likely they are to all get to a similar sort of level. At the moment, the level seems to be pretty cranked up. So yeah.
Yeah. Would you say like, because it's me more asking you as opposed to always giving my opinion.
What?
But would you say that these 3 books seem a level above previous books, or would you say?
So the 3 books being Gits.
No, Flesh Eater Court, Skaven, and Khorne.
Khorne. Yeah. Well, not seen the Khorne book really, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be ramped up. So they all seem to be higher. They're all joining the top tier, so they're all the same sort of level as Daughters of Cain and Legions of Nagash.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and Beasts of Chaos. Don't forget those guys.
Beasts
keep winning tournaments.
Yeah.
That's what the stats say.
Yeah, I think the Beasts of Chaos have got some builds in there, but I don't think they're the same. I mean, there's that one build. Obviously, the one build seems to be doing really well.
Yeah.
Be cool to see if any other builds come out of that book.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, I would say if you were to ask me the same question, which is basically I think what I'm doing right now, I'd say that it does seem like that it's a slightly different design methodology. I've heard the term bringing every other army up as opposed to maybe sorting the armies out at a level, but realistically we'll see what the conclusion is at the end of it. If anything, I'm quite excited about the fact that everyone's like, not everyone, but we're getting more and more books out, and I would like it if they finally cleaned up Age of Sigmar. I think nearly 4 years now is long enough for us to look. We've all made the gag about the Firebelly, like, you know, it's getting towards the stage of a dad joke. It's like, what about the Firebelly faction? And it's just like, yeah, but also it's a pretty cool model. Yeah,
can't wait to see his endless spell.
Fucking, it'll be so good. But I would really, really like it if they did just go, right, yeah, cool. All of the free, like, I really like the War Altar of Sigmar as a model as well, and Flagellants are pretty cool as well. I'd like to know if they're getting put in. I like that everyone takes a Hurricanum, but I rarely see a Luminarch. Can you just decide, are you keeping them in the game or are you getting them out of the game? Am I able to take a Dwarf Cannon, yeah, and some Gyrocopters, or am I not? Like, put them in a goddamn book, yeah? Like I now know
7 different ways I've been able to take liberators, and I think it's been long enough, and I hope that that's what's happening, because I'm really if that's what they're doing, kudos to you, Games Workshop, super happy. But if they're just, if I see books that have already got books get more books this year, I'll be like, well, you're all going to be here what I'm going to like. You'll all hear my thoughts on it, but I do think that it's about time that they condensed them all into like when the next version of Age of Sigmar comes up in like a year and a half's time, I want there to be no Firebelly left behind. Hashtag no Firebelly left behind. That's my thoughts, because it's about time, right? Because look at ogres, right? There was an ogre guy playing yesterday when I was at Scribes, and he's a new guy. He's like, I played 8th edition, I've got ogres. It's like, cool. It's like, but I haven't played 8th edition obviously since it died, so that was like nearly 4 years ago. It's like, okay. It's like, what can ogres do now? Like, the same, nothing. They're shit. Like, they haven't been any different. Sorry, Mick. Like the whole time, like, do something. Gutbusters, right? Gargants, Chaos Dwarves, and the spells. Right. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Do you disagree or agree with that?
Cool. No, I mean, if they carry on at this rate, it'd be good to see some books done. Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the moment, the the books that are pretty much up to date are a handful or so, and just need everybody else. Would be cool to get. I mean, everybody's crying out for a book. Hopefully, I'll get them. Yeah.
That's true. And one of the criticisms, obviously, of Warhammer Fantasy Battle Days that they had was that they didn't update. I mean, Beasts of Chaos never got an update. Bretonnia didn't get an update, and they released like a Wood Elves update, and then they destroyed the game. But then they kind of like Skaven, I don't think got an update either when it was Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And then Orcs got that's in 8th edition. So like some army books and some armies waited several years for an army book. Which obviously New Games Workshop /TM apparently is like now what they're not about. So
they seem to be churning them out. Yeah,
they're turning them out now.
Hand over fist. Well, yeah. Well, we've been having battle tomes since the first one was Seraphon or something.
I need to maybe write it all up and actually track it and see if there is an increased schedule. I mean, it feels like an increased schedule, but I like to go on numbers, not feels. Last week, thanks for subscribing for 2 months in a row. Bill Robertson says Firebelly will get a volcano for sure as terrain. Downtown Edition, I really want that model. I make Spider-Fan Goblins on foot with my Savage Orcs, and the Firebelly would work really well with them. Yeah. The Seraphon needs to be a priority, says Grobda. I'd say it's a pretty big army, right? You could do with it.
Yeah.
Manimal says, Nathan can agree with this, where's my Gitmo book?
Yeah, well... There's a couple of interesting teasers in the Gloomspite Gits book, so...
Ooh, okay. Okay, cool. So as stated, obviously we've got to wait for more Khorne books to be released. We will be back next Monday. We'll be back with a stat show in the morning with the wonderful Mr. LLV who's already in the chat. Do you want to take 10 minutes to do some questions from the chat? Nate?
Yeah.
Are you up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, so Twitch chat, you've got us for 10 to 15 minutes to answer some questions in what is now Charles has just messaged me with that's the great penis of Canberra. Before we do get to the question but before we do get to the questions, the one thing I would like to say also is our love and support to everyone over in New Zealand. You guys are great, and I hope all the hobbyists are well and safe.
Yeah.
That's what I've got to say.
Cool.
Nathan, where are the hints at Git mobs? ?
There was a mention of the Wolf Riders and people on the plains at one stage. They did like a little breakdown of destruction. I'm pretty sure they mentioned them. They mentioned the Scuttle Pirate Gits again. So yeah. I think you'll be seeing some flying
Scuttle
Gits.
Pirates.
Scuttle.
You're telling me there's
going
to be pirates. There's going to be pirate Spider-Fang.
Pirate grots. Flying pirate grots.
Flying pirate grots.
Sold. Excuse me, everyone. Tomorrow I will be selling all of my Warhammer and building up a vast pool of money while waiting for Flying Spire. You've done it for me. Shinra says, how do you think that the Khorne book will affect the meta, if at all? I would say that it's too early to say.
Yeah, got to wait and see. We need to see points. We need to see the rules ready.
Although there isn't really much room for. So if you're talking about a board control combat army, which is how I currently would describe Khorne.
Yeah.
That already exists in several different factions, several different ways. So a debuffing magic army, because effectively they can be -3 with the scenery and the thingy. So turning off that could be their way of being different.
Yeah. Controlling your opponent's magic phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, at the moment, Age of Sigmar is still largely a combat game, so yeah, they're going to be in it.
They're going to be in it. LOV questions: are Adepticon armies locked in? Yes, brother. We talked about that at the start of the show. No, sorry. Mine is. Nathan won't decide until he's packing to go.
We've got to print them off, haven't we? So I better decide and print it off.
Oh no! Wait, do you need me to fax? Do you need me to fax mine to you?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
I'll just fax. Yeah, print them off on the
we
fax
can fax
machine.
them to ourselves, right?
Mm.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Datcom, you think there is a reason we haven't had any AoS campaign books yet? I don't know. Do you want to hear a really funny story that I have?
Go
on Wednesday,
yeah.
Playing Warhammer, playing a bit of 40k. The wonderful Mr. Phil Kelly came up to me. He was playing 40k with the wonderful Mr. John Bracken. Came over, asked how I was, because he was playing Orcs and I was playing Orcs. And then I was like, how you doing? And then I'd said, oh, that Brexit thing's happened today, Phil. And then Phil said, can't be arsed with that. He's like, it's just such an undulating story. I just want him to get right to the end. And I was like, Phil, as the lead creative writer for Warhammer and all of the universe, isn't your job effectively undulating story? And then he was like, that's a good point, yeah, I do wish it would get to the end. But what do you think, Nath? Any AoS campaign books?
Or like the Realmscape books.
I suppose isn't Malign Sorceries like a campaign book, right?
It is. And the Realm Wars books were sort of like that. There were loads of
those ones from the first edition.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There were loads of battle plans and things, and you could play through the book, so you could play through various things. And I think in the General's Handbook there's some campaigns you can do.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. If you guys actually just flip back a few pages,
yeah.
they might already exist. It's just none of them have spoken.
And in all of the new books, there's Call to Glory. There's
Path to Glory.
Path to Glory type campaigns as well.
I know the one guy
which look pretty good.
Yeah.
I
know the one
they
guy
look pretty good. The
yeah.
one guy, yeah.
Yeah, the one guy.
More of you guys should try it. He should get a mate because they look pretty good.
I think he's got mates.
I keep when I'm going through my book looking for rules, I keep going and thinking, what are all these cool rules? And then it's like, oh, it's that Path to Glory thing. They look cool. All right, let's turn over.
Let's get to the real rules.
I need to finish this list. But yeah, I need to go back and play those.
Okay, All Boy Phil says, is a Verminlord Warp Seer needed in the top army of Skaven? Everyone seems to take one. I don't agree. Because, the Verminlord Warp Seer is really good at being a defensive character.
Yeah, he's a great tar pit.
He's a wicked tar pit, but you could trade him up for more offense.
Yeah, it depends on your build. Nick from WS10, he's taken all Scryer, so there's no Verminlord Warp Seer. He's got Thanquol and Bone Ripper in there instead. Yeah, that's pretty scary. If you get close to that army, you get toasted.
Yeah, a lot of burns. I would say not, because I actually think that from what I've seen so far, the Skaven do so well anyway that the Verminlord's job of being tanky effectively is negated because
everybody's dead.
Yeah, everyone's dead. You got to deal with all their threats before you get to their tanky model.
Yeah.
So you might as well trade those points in. It's not many points anyway. But that's my experience of seeing armies on the tabletop.
Depends how you play, but yeah, he's.
Matt Pashby, what do we have to do to get you to SoCal Open or the LVO? Just say the word. I'll try anything once. I don't know. Just fly us, I guess. Or do you want to boat it? Do you want to boat, Nath?
A boat.
Do you want to get a boat over, or should we fly?
I think fly.
You want to fly?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do the flying.
Yeah.
We'll go to Las Vegas next year, right? if that's okay with you.
In an aeroplane.
In an
Sure.
aeroplane.
Sure.
I mean, we don't have to fly it. Yes, you can get drunk with us. So everyone, yeah, sure. We would love to come. We would absolutely love to come to the LVO. No, I'll tell you that story after. Bobbins, thanks very much for subscribing. Appreciate that loads. Bill Robertson, what do you think about the mystery teaser video from Gamma is about? Don't know. I'm not too stressed about the teasers. I'm just like waiting for the actual.
I like them, yeah.
I like them.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I like them. But
I like the tease. Yeah,
I don't.
I mean, it looks so Tomb King, didn't it? So who knows?
Yep.
Who knows what it means? It
Question,
looks cool.
Are either of you at Throne of Scores this weekend? I'm not.
No.
We're preparing to go to Adepticon.
Yeah, I've got to finish work before I can go there.
Plus, I have to practice my Adepticon army, so none of that.
I'm going to practice mine there.
Good. Dino Titan Edition. It's always. Oh no, wait, hold on. Question: when will the Forge World release something for AoS? I don't know. It'd be cool if they did something soon, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, you'll have to ask
Forge
them.
World are in an interesting place, right? They've really fallen apart over the past couple of years. So, because I don't think they know what they're doing. Because at one point they announced they were doing Warhammer Forge, which is their AoS department, and then actually Warhammer Fest isn't that long away. So I'm hoping that Warhammer Fest is the place where, because that's normally where we see the biggest amount of works in progress and stuff.
Well, just make some more corn stuff. That's all they make, isn't it?
They do. Oh, that's why I hate that Warcry thing. It's just like more corn stuff.
Good way to trigger Rob. Just mention more corn stuff.
Yeah, Matt Pashby, we didn't cover the new AoS expansion that was announced with the not great video, but when we actually get the information, that's when we'll cover it, right? Mr. Kapowski, I won't be surprised if the Spin Power thing is a visual style campaign. That would be cool. Warps is there for Battleshock, says Xtab.
Yeah, that's true. It's got big stops Battleshock bubble, which is pretty good. His command ability. That's great, actually, yeah.
And then Mr. Festo says Nathan likes being teased. Hey, whoa, thick. Skaven tank model. The new AoS Forge team literally just getting paid to put a pack out of heads. Oh no, they released the. Do you not remember that they released a new set of heads for Stormcaster Turtles from Forge World?
Oh, great.
Did you remember that?
No, I forgot that. Damn
I'd
it.
completely forgotten that they did that.
You could use those on corn models, so you could get different
my
heads for your
God.
corn
You
models.
put them on the bottom as the heads that have been taken. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's some questions answered. I think you guys are okay with that, which is fun. Nathan, have you got any questions? I love putting you on the spot because that's not really fair. But do you have any questions?
Are we there yet?
Oh my God. It's not that far to Adepticon. It's going to be fine.
No.
No.
It's not going to be as long as the flight to Australia.
I mean,
We're not going via China again.
Oh, also, big shout out, Flukesy still in the chat, but to everyone who has donated to the
CanCon.
the Get Clint
Yeah.
to Bobo
one.
fund.
Yeah.
A huge thank you. Flukesy himself has just done a huge portion of that, but everyone who's put any money into that has been amazing. Thank you. I love that. So we're flying if you guys don't know what that means, we put up a crowdfund to fly the organizer of CanCon, who makes no money for doing that, in Australia, and we've organised for him to fly over to the Bravery One British Open so that he can play there for the weekend. Which is just obviously awesome, and then it's really nice because it's making those international bonds a lot stronger, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be cool if we could get all of the Australian players over to the UK or similar, or we could all meet on a giant party boat in the middle of the sea, ridden by sky rats, but that probably won't ever happen. I mean, eventually the sea will be bigger, so maybe we might all be on rafts. But that would be cool. But that, yeah. So loads of you have put money in towards that, so that he can come over and play at Adept.
Bobo.
At Bobo. And then obviously you guys have all crowdfunded for us to go to Adepticon. So to anyone who's been a supporter in making all of those communities come together, I just want to say a massive thank you, because you've all been wicked, and it's always been players, or it's TOs, and just people from around the world who are helping forge those things. I mean, no, because it makes noise. Yeah, Bobo stands for the Bravery One British Open. You guys are wicked, so thank you for doing that. That's obviously great.
Yeah,
Jet, have you got anything to say goodbye to anyone? Nathan, have you thought up a question yet?
No.
Okay.
I stopped thinking as soon as you started talking. As always, I just stopped thinking.
I was speaking to someone today, and someone was like, "It's really funny just how much Nathan doesn't give a fuck what you say." And I was like, "It's the best." All right. Well, with that said, then don't forget to join LLV and me on the Tuesday show where we talk stats.
Yeah.
Or give that a listen. There'll be more stuff coming from us sometime soon. We're going to go into a new planning phase.
Yeah, because they've had a big tournament over in Oz, haven't they? They've got other tournaments over the weekend.
Huh?
Other tournaments this weekend?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there were loads of tournaments this weekend, so we'll cover that tomorrow.
Cool.
And it potentially will be a little bit earlier than normal to be discussed. No, the stat show. Yeah, I know. Getting up earlier. So that'll be fun. Join us tomorrow where we'll talk about that. Tomb King Tristan, what's the question? What's Bravery 1? It's an old podcast hosted by two reprobates, and they should never
have started.
They should never have started anything.
They still do a podcast every week, but they just don't record it. The last one was hilarious.
What, the last Bravery One podcast?
Man.
Where can I listen to it?
No, we don't record them. But
okay,
we did one last week with Jonathan.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Yeah?
He's mad.
He is indeed mad. Hopefully we're going to get him on soon. There's a new Swedish show coming on soon as well. And also, do you remember when we went into the Nath? Do you remember when we were into the secret project phase, and then we launched that website where you can see? By the way, check out Darren Watson's new amazing write up on his. There's two great rundowns that you can read currently on thehonestwargamer.com. I'll make them the featured list tomorrow.
Yeah, Darren's write-up's really good.
Darren's is really good, and also James Tinsdale's is really good.
Oh yes, yeah.
So they're both so one of them is to do with mixed chaos, to do with Skaven and some other stuff, and then the other one is done by a tournament-winning James with his Death Deepkin. So both worth reading and consuming if you'd like to be good at Warhammer. But that was our secret project, right? We did a workbook, which people liked. It was cool. And then we did the website, which... Did it change Warhammer? Quite a bit. That's it. There's a new one. We've got a new secret project.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we're into that phase now.
Cool.
Yeah, so we get to say the word secret project a lot. That's fun, right?
Great.
Yeah?
What's that one then, I wonder?
What is that one, I wonder? I'll never tell you because you'll tell people like you did last time. Right. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch.
Oh, we're not supposed to tell people.
What, the project?
Yeah.
Did you tell people?
No.
Okay.
Am I allowed to tell them now?
No, not until we do it.
What, about the website and the book?
Oh no, we've done the website and the book.
So I'm allowed to tell them about
those. Go on
those.
thehonestwargamer.com and read loads of army lists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone about that.
Cool.
Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. You guys are wicked. Thank you to everyone who joins us live. You guys are really good.
I don't know, you're right. I don't know. I still don't know about the workbook, to be honest. Or that other website that he keeps on about.
God damn. God damn. Thank you. You guys have been amazing. LV gives the jet symbols. Thanks for joining us every Monday. You guys are brilliant. Don't forget to join us on Thursday, where the two 40k show hosts went away this weekend and kicked dick at a 40k tournament. So hear their news. It'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. They play 6 games each. That's a lot to cover. So that should be a really fun day of talking about 40k. I think they don't. Both didn't play orcs. And then stats.
Neither of them played orcs.
And one of them played with orcs.
Oh, Tom did.
Yeah, Tom played with orcs.
Oh, okay.
And then Nikos did like a last minute switch up and then just went with chaos.
Switcheroo.
Yeah, and then he texted me on Saturday night and went, I fucking hate Oldar. And I was like, what's going on then? But thank you for joining us. Nathan, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jet the Dog. Excellent. Thank you to everyone who listens to the podcast, everyone on YouTube. Leave comments and likes. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon and have a great